gentlemen, we are back in the building for another episode of Speak On It. I am your host, Big Mike. We got a full house tonight. We're going to have some fun tonight. I got the fellas here, got the team. I got Breezy right next to me, Dylan next to him. My man Anthony's below me, and Roz over in the corner. Welcome, fellas. How are we doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Happy New Year, brothers. Happy New Year.
Yes. Doing great, doing well. Happy New Year to everyone across
New
the
year,
world.
new me.
Everyone who's tuning in. The NY stands for New Year's. That's what that is, you know?
Oh, right here.
New Year, new me.
Man.
Yeah.
That was good.
How's everybody's holiday?
It's good, man.
Wonderful.
Yeah, man. As you can see, I'm still celebrating, so it's all good.
Wonderful. A lot of cooking, not a lot of relaxing, a lot of whiskey, but we made it happen.
Whiskey's always good.
For 12.
12
Irish
good.
whiskey.
Anthony, how you feeling?
We're here to take over.
I thought you was gonna come in here with trumpets blaring and confetti and fireworks.
The face paint on with the choker.
I had a theme song for
Ford
Anthony tonight, but he's not going overboard. If he would have went overboard, I would.
Anthony may have gotten exactly what he's looking for, but when we get to it, he'll tell you why he's not exactly.
I'm just saying, I've just been painfully accurate in my predictions, but that's all, I'm just saying that. That's all I'm saying.
There you go.
That's all I'm saying.
The
Just
one
been
thing,
I'll give it to you. You can enjoy it.
Just been painfully accurate.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. But you may have been accurate in your record going into this week, but since we're going to be going into NFL to start, you are currently still not in the playoffs, so your accuracy means
No, and you know what pains me about that is we should jump the Colts, but because the Chargers are also 9-7, that puts us in a three-way tie, which has us on the outside looking in. Even though we have the head-to-head against Indy, and we have the same conference record as the Colts. We should jump them, but because LA's in there, that messes everything up for us.
Well, I have something to say about that.
Hold on, real quick. So my thing is, Percy, yes, we win and we're in, but now it's not even a matter of can the Jaguars beat the Colts? Because that's already the slimmest possibility ever.
No.
But if they even happen to beat the Colts, we're still not in. We need the Ravens now to beat the Steelers because the Steelers happen to win their game. So now we need Pittsburgh to drop a game. So now it's like
this is what happens when you put your fate in other people's hands and not your own.
No, you're absolutely right, because I think about the Bears game. We had the Bears at home and lost. I think about the Giants game. And then I think about losing to the Washington football team. I think about those 3 games that we dropped. And if we don't make the playoffs, we're going to look back at those 3 games and be like, oh, my God.
How do you think I feel?
Huh?
How do you think I feel? How do you think
what are
I
you
feel?
talking about? You guys are
if the Titans had beat the Jets, we would have clinched the number 1 seed.
Beat that ass like a drum.
It's a hard life here, man.
Mike, you guys have to beat the Texans.
We could have already wrapped up that number 1
You guys
seed,
have to beat the Texans next week.
Hey, anything can happen. They already beat us once. I had to sit here and listen to y'all go crazy about them beating us once. You never know.
Sure did.
If I'm not mistaken, I thought that the Browns, the Steelers were already eliminated from playoff contention.
No. The Browns. No, the Browns are eliminated. The Steelers are not.
The Steelers are still
in it. But the Steelers need like a lot of.
They need the Colts to beat the Jaguars. Yeah, they need the Colts to beat the Jaguars. They need
they
need us. They need us to
yeah. They need the Colts.
They need quite a bit of help.
The Raiders to lose.
Then they need us to lose.
Like, they need a whole bunch of nonsense to happen.
The Ravens could still make the playoffs, too.
I love all of this. Because, you know what? I ran into Anthony at Target on Sunday. And the first thing he tells me is I'm in my Jets hoodie. He's in his Raiders jersey. He's all happy to the moon. And then he whispers in my ear, we're not in the playoffs. And nothing could have made me happier. Nothing could have made me happier. And then I pull my phone out and I record. Maybe I'll throw the video in right here. Hey, I'm at Target.
Oh,
I found this guy. And can you repeat to me what you just told me? Can you repeat to me what you just told me?
we are not in the playoffs just yet because the Chargers won. All right.
Not in the playoffs.
So we have to beat the Chargers next week, or we put all our playoff hopes in Jacksonville, which is about a death sentence, pretty much.
Damn. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. So, Anthony told me all this, and man, oh man, am I smiling from ear to ear because you know what? I may have been wrong about the Raiders winning and losing those games. May have been wrong. I'll hold that L. L being held. But the Raiders aren't in the playoffs, and they're still not going to be in the playoffs because they're not beating the Chargers. And you know what Anthony says to me? We still had a winning season for the first time in X amount of years. You know what, Anthony? You're right. Because impossible to go 500 anymore because of the extra game. It's impossible to be average. And you guys...
So we went above average, Dylan. So we went above
because you
average.
literally can't go to be average. You can't.
But we could have went below average. But we went above average.
You won the football game. That's kind of how that works.
We went above
thing, though,
average.
right? This is how wacky this year has been, by the way. Like, I know I kind of alluded to it earlier, but if somehow the Colts lose to Jacksonville, then you talk about two teams would literally have to be just spiteful of each other, right? Because if the Colts lose and the Raiders, right, and the Chargers choose to tie, they're both in the playoffs. So literally, if somehow they decide to scoreboard watch and they're like, let's be great sports to each other and like let each other in the playoffs, then they could just manipulate the score. I know they wouldn't do that, right? The competitive, like integrity of the game and everything, but I mean, integrity of the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, it's a wacky option, right?
I mean,
they look at each other.
Saying, Roz, your grand idea, I could see that playing out if they played and then we got into overtime. I could see some funny shit starting to happen. I could if they played hard and everybody's it's just a good back and forth game, and then we end up in overtime and one defense gets a stop and then another defense gets a stop. I could see them coaches looking at each other and maybe giving the wink, like, do we have to do this anymore? I mean,
the thing is, watch. See, here's the thing. Watch some team get to like around the 30-yard line. Then one of the coaches is like, nah, I should do that shit. Kick this game.
With Anthony, are you now rooting for the tie?
We're talking about the Raiders and Chargers here. I'm not trusting the Chargers. Like, if I'm the Raiders coach, I'm not trusting the Chargers. Like, I don't know. I can see myself doing some slick and be like, yo, the 25-yard line, we can win this game right now and send these motherfuckers. Send these people home. Like,
here's what I'm gonna leave you with: the game between the Colts and Jags are at 1:00. The game between the Raiders and the Chargers are at 8:20. There's plenty of time to see what happens in the outcome of that game, to where these guys, I don't know, maybe someone sends a message into the tunnel like, the Colts lost. Do you guys really want to go banging our heads against each other and we can let the guys go, like on the field, practice squad guys, whatever, and earn themselves a check, and it can be really fun. Just make sure it's the same at the end, like we'll see. There's a lot of pride. I doubt it, but
Anthony,
you can find out that well before the game starts.
What?
Or do you want a tie now?
No, I want the Colts to I want the Jaguars to beat the Colts, and I want the Ravens to beat the Steelers. All right, that's what I want. So that's what I want. So by the time it's 8:30, it won't matter anymore. We're already in the play.
I would like to call back to a few weeks ago, to where now this has become more and more of a reality. What's the difference between the Raiders and the Jets? besides draft position. See how y'all aren't in the playoff, and you'll be right next to me on that couch.
What?
So what's the difference? Because it looks to me like the Jets are in a better situation organizationally than y'all are, seeing how you have a head coach who resigned midseason because of all the bullshit he was doing. You have a murderer in Henry Ruggs, and then you just had another DUI on your team this year.
And we're still 9-7.
Damn, what's that 9-7 got you?
The same thing that got the Chargers, which is not yet playoffs.
Are you in the playoffs?
No one's in the playoffs right now. Not the Chargers.
If you win,
we're in the playoffs.
You're in the playoffs. Ooh.
So there was a certain person, not going to say his name, on Facebook, posting very bummy comments on my timeline. He's a Chargers.
Oh, my cousin. Shout out to BJ and Ryan.
Now, I'll be honest. I can be admittedly very cruel to Bronco fans. The Chiefs. The Chiefs. I kind of stick in my lane because I know they're better than us.
Because they'll whoop that ass
twice.
Hey! No one asked for that, Mike. All right, that wasn't needed. All right. But yes, the Chiefs. I tend to stay in my lane. I don't really talk about that. I tend to be more professional when it comes to that organization. But as far as the Chargers, just the Chargers is they're like Jets fans, except they actually have a reason to talk, just a little more of a reason to talk smack. And it pisses me off.
If you guys lose this game, my goodness gracious.
But we're not.
Lose,
but we're not.
Y'all can't say shit to me.
But we're not.
Say shit to me. You have to sit there and you have to take whatever I got. Pause.
First off, as a matter of fact, if you were paying attention, a certain somebody's coming back next week for us. Let's see, Darren. What's his last name? No, not Henry Ruggs. Darren Waller.
Not Ruggs.
Our star tight end.
Your tight end. He plays defense.
Our star tight end, Darren Waller, is coming back next week.
Last time I checked, Darren Waller wasn't the reason y'all were winning and or losing games. Your defense is what's got to play.
Oh, so Carr wasn't literally part of the reason why we're on a 3-game winning streak? You didn't see the game, didn't you?
Of course,
Carr's played fine, but your defense is what allows teams to stay in games.
And Carr's played phenomenal. How 29 game-winning drives. He did it again this past week. He did it again.
I would say he's played gutsy.
He's played good. He's played good football. I wouldn't say great or phenomenal. He's played good football, but your defense still allows teams to be in it.
I see it's more of a coin flip.
And we deserve it. How many years has
Darren Waller doesn't play defense?
Darren Waller is one of our best Hunter Renfrow, I got to give him credit. He's
not better than Darren Waller, though.
He's not better than Darren Waller, but Hunter Renfrow has been playing out of his mind. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll still say in general, Waller is our best offensive piece.
Yes, and gaining offense is fine. But, your offense has been performing well regardless. If he goes on there, let's say he gives you an extra touchdown, right? Your defense, that gives your defense another drive they have to be on the field, and that's them allowing more points. So, but here's the thing. We dropped almost 30 on the Colts. Again, one of our touchdowns got taken back. You dropped 23.
We dropped almost
and
30.
And they lost by 3.
No, but one of the touchdowns was taken back, which should have been a touchdown because he never got touched.
So if the touchdown was taken away, it means it doesn't count, right?
If you watch the replay, Renfrow was never touched.
Count. Was the final score 30-20?
Okay, first off, Dylan, we shouldn't be talking about our respective games against the Indianapolis Colts because I believe we beat them. And what was the score between y'all and the Colts?
Didn't we only lose by 10?
They blew y'all backs out.
We outscored you guys in that game every week for the last 7 weeks. We have outperformed you guys on offense. Do I have to pull it up?
Pull it up.
This week, you guys scored what? 23? You know what we scored? 24. That's one.
Let's not.
Well, what did you guys score last week? 17? Oh, right, 17. All right, we scored 26. That's 2.
That's correct.
What'd you guys score against the Browns? 16? 16? Okay. You know what we scored that week? 24. That's 3.
That is
All
also
right.
correct.
Cool. Let's keep it going. Let's keep going. What do you guys? Oh, your 48-9 loss. Oh, I'm sorry. This is week 4. We put up the same amount of points you guys did, but y'all lost by like 39. So we'll keep that moving.
Oh,
Let's go to the week before that. Oh, you guys. 15 against Redskins or football team. I'm sorry, insensitive. Oh, we put up 18. Sorry. Oh, let's keep this going. All right, where are the Raiders? Raiders put up 30. Okay, it takes 7 weeks to get to the last time you guys outscored us.
that's sad.
That's sad. And we have a bunch of backup offensive linemen and 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th string and practice squad receivers playing.
Jeff Smith.
I know. How many of those offensive outputtings resulted in wins, though?
Let's see.
Silence.
1.
Not many.
Not many.
So what's the point? What was the point of just all this just now?
Our offense is
I mean,
better than your
guaranteed we didn't
offense.
play the Washington football team though.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, like,
we played one of the hardest
we didn't
schedules
play
in
them.
football.
Yeah.
Dog, y'all lost to the easy teams too.
No, that's not correct.
But we fucking slap around all these fucking big
They
body
are
teams,
the
right, Mike?
most of the
They
teams that
are
we
the
played,
easy team.
most of the teams that we played actually by strength of schedule, which is actually working against us right now, they're very, very good. And I wish it was not the case because that's why I was rooting so hard for us to just have a really good showing against Jacksonville and then lose, because that strength of schedule would have completely been such a godsend for us, because now we beat Jacksonville, so it just puts us in a bad position because it's like we're beating the bad teams and we're losing to the really good teams. And it's really like, if you look at the teams that we've lost to, a lot of them, if not most of them, have been either on the fringe to get into the playoffs or they're in the playoffs.
I'll be
If we had
very
to play the Raiders, we would have whooped your ass. Just saying.
whatever.
Like the last like, 4 times we played.
I mean, go up and down the line. You know?
I'll be
guaranteed-
very,
Go up
I'll
and
be
down the
very
line
honest.
what?
Huh?
Go up and down the line what?
The teams
Man,
that we
the
lost to.
Titans fan can't talk about the Jets.
I mean, listen, we're guaranteed to play at least 6 games in our division. All those teams are either vying for a playoff spot or are in the playoffs already.
It's very true.
So 6 already.
Okay.
6 of the losses that we have already are against playoff teams or fringe playoff teams. Miami just got eliminated yesterday. Oh no,
Thanks to my
a few days ago, right? We beat the Titans, which is, hey,
Beat that ass like a drum,
That's-
Mike.
right?
That's your
We're not
signature win of the year. That's your Super Bowl. Like
No,
I
it's not. You know what the
said
signature win is?
3 months ago, that was
Mike
your
White.
Super Bowl.
No.
Mike
The
White.
actual Super Bowl for me was the one when we beat Cincinnati. By the way, the Cincinnati Bengals, who are the AFC champions?
North
AFC
champion.
North champions.
Anthony,
Right?
remember you said the Bengals weren't
And
real?
guess what? The man who had 11 receptions for 266 yards and 3 touchdowns had nothing close to that against Bryce Hall.
30 yards.
The same team almost.
0 tutters.
What does that
So what does that say?
mean?
What does that say?
Y'all
I mean, you
have
tell me.
4
You tell
wins.
me. You tell me.
4.
You tell me.
What are you trying to
tell
say?
me.
Are you trying
I'm
to say
saying-
What are you
that
talking
y'all are
about?
better
Mike
than the
was going
Bengals?
with those
That
fucking
y'all are
rings.
better than the Titans? Is that what you're trying to say?
I mean, all I have to say is we played the
Oh,
Titans.
God.
Derrick Henry was playing. I mean, I was there. He played. He gave us the best shot he could, but
Oh shit!
a win is a
Oh,
win.
sorry.
That was also
Um,
the last game the Jets defense played defense.
I also want to mention the whole point of this was to say that the Jets have played some very good teams, even though they've had a very young team. By the way, not much can be said the same about every other team in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially the Raiders. The Raiders, like I mentioned, have played some very poor teams. I mean, they played the Giants though, right? Did they not play the Giants?
Yeah, they did. Anthony, tell me how. If you lost to the Giants, y'all not beating us.
Why do we start the podcast?
Y'all beat the Bears. Y'all not beating
Why do we
us.
start the podcast like
But
this?
so not to move on, I'd always have to make sure I defend the Jets because I'm always trying to be objective. I put on my NFL football helmet, a little bit of green
My helmet's
tinge
right
or paint
here.
gets on it a little bit. But to be quite honest, this has been a wacky season. And I mean, like, if you're Roger Goodell, you're the NFL owners, again, you could have not asked for more than what you got this year outside of COVID. All those teams that are just like separated by one, which seems like we haven't seen that in a long time, by one win and one loss, that is the whole parity thing that they've been trying to say about how like we're trying to build parity and help out the little teams and other things like that. That shows that in spades. The other thing is you have nothing but drama at the very last point of the season, and they're going to use this as more fuel to say, hey guys, we really think you should have this 18-week season and it may work for you guys going forward. Like, this is their little test that's happening, and a lot of the players have been pushing back on that. But don't be surprised if this becomes a norm where there's an extra game in there to kind of like have some chance for us to have some drama.
It's like the NBA play-in and all that stuff. It's just a test market, just a test market.
Yeah, baseball with the whole expanded playoffs, and they're trying to expand it even more. Like, you know, not to just jump in, but I mean, like, you see all the major sports trying to find ways to extend revenue and kind of offset everything that's been happening. But can't wait for the Raiders Chargers game. It's going to be fireworks.
I'll sprinkle a little dose of realism as far as the Raiders are concerned. If we do, well, we are going to go to the playoffs. When we go to the playoffs.
You heard it here first. When they go to the playoffs.
Whoever we face, I will admittedly say this. I really don't like our chances against any of the division winners right now, just to be completely honest.
I know y'all don't want to play the Chiefs again. I know y'all don't want to see them again. I know y'all don't want that.
Because my thing is, all right, this is how I picture it in my head. I'm giving the Titans.
Say it, Dylan.
Hold on.
That ass like a what?
A drum.
Hold on. Because I picture this in my head. I give the Titans the 1 seed. I don't think they're going to lose to the Texans. So they got the first round bye. Then it's like, okay, I lose us 3 options. We go to Arrowhead and face the Chiefs. I'm just like, ugh. We go to Cincinnati, face the Bengals. I'm just like, and then we go.
Don't want none of that smoke from Joey B.
Or we go to Buffalo
and want to play the Bengals first.
Joey B. The Bayou Bengals.
You can't play any of those teams.
Y'all gotta go play New
England
first. New England's the only game
that. Can you guys do that? I don't think you can.
No, because the Bills basically locked up the East. They're not losing to the Jets.
Yeah, they're not losing to us.
They're not losing to you guys.
Not with the money on the line.
Who knows? We played a
Dylan. You guys
against the fucking Bucks.
Buffalo's
you guys are
crazy. But that's
you guys are not beating the Bills. No.
I never said we were, but who knows?
But you guys can't play. All 3 of those teams are just completely terrible, and the Bills more so because of the travel and also the weather. Josh Jacobs is the man. I think he's awesome, but you can't go into there with Josh.
We just don't. We don't have the firepower to compete with any one of those 3 teams.
Those 3 teams are rough.
That literally, if y'all make the playoffs, y'all literally would have to beat whoever you play in the first round. All 4 of them are on this top 10. Literally, all 4 of them.
I know.
It's real rough, man.
You guys make.
I personally don't know how the Patriots are in front of the Bengals, but I
don't agree with that either.
There's a lot going on with this list. True. I don't know whose power ranking this is, but this is ridiculous.
Arizona's better than Dallas too.
But it's all right.
Arizona just beat Dallas.
Tennessee's the 1 seed. Who cares? We're behind the team that we beat already. But hey, whatever.
I do agree.
Criminal.
I do agree. I do agree with the Packers being number 1. Aaron Rodgers has had another unhuman season. Yeah, they're the best. This man, 35 and 4, 35 touchdown passes, 4 interceptions. 2 of those interceptions came in the first week.
First week. Like,
just ridiculous. Like, you can't make this up. Unbelievable. In the last 2 seasons against all divisional teams, I think 30-something touchdown passes, 0 picks.
Like,
if I'm not mistaken,
he pissed me off so much earlier this year that I've just completely forgotten that he was my favorite player in the league for this exact reason. He's just unbelievable to watch.
And also playing with like a toe that is being mangled, by the way. Worse than turf toe, by the way. So what does Aaron Rodgers fully healthy look like? I mean, that's the Super Bowl guy, right? That's the guy who was just shredding everybody, right?
I don't know. We had fully healthy Aaron Rodgers last year.
I mean, but First team ever.
Yeah, but you also had a
13,
fully healthy
13
Bucks
wins.
team last year,
3
too.
straight years, right?
Well, yeah, no, this is why it's like the Packers have a chance to go to the Super Bowl now.
Yeah,
the
because
Bucks are beat up all over.
Yeah, Godwin's out for the year, torn ACL.
Antonio Brown went crazy.
Yeah,
we're gonna get into Antonio Brown literally in a few moments.
Yeah. So the Bucks are looking a little vulnerable. I say a little because again, it's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. Tom Brady's done more with less. You guys both know that. Dylan, you should definitely know that.
I understand this, but like I saw that Bucks team. I saw that Bucks team against us on Sunday, and I'm like, we're not a good team. We're not a good football team. And like, granted, like it's any given Sunday type thing, but like, Mike, shut up.
Oh yeah, because I have not forgotten. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We're not a good football team, but we beat that ass like a drum. But when they play a good football team, they're hurt everywhere. Their secondary just came back against us. Then they haven't played literally all season. Jamel Dean and Murphy's Bunting literally just came back, and they looked awful because they're out of shape and they haven't played since fucking week 2 or 3. The Tampa Bay is in a spot where they could, depending who they play in that first round, they could be out.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day,
it could be trouble.
They still have Tom Brady.
Well, if the playoffs started,
if comes back too.
Well, if the playoffs started now, they would host the 49ers.
They can beat the 49ers. That's a win.
What Tampa Bay needs is they need the Rams to win this division, because the worst thing that could happen to Tampa Bay is having to see Aaron Donald wild card weekend. Because I mean, now granted, Matthew Stafford's been a little shaky, but I have faith.
Literally just about to say that.
Faith in him. I
literally just about to say it. Stafford's been a little shaky with them picks recently, man.
But like I told y'all a month ago, that Rams team is starting to look like the Rams team I thought they were going to be a month ago, and that defense looks scarier every week.
I agree.
It's Matthew Stafford.
And you notice get the triple crown for the receivers. I mean, I wouldn't want to play.
Cup's about to break the record too.
I wouldn't want to play with the Rams.
He has a chance, but I mean, like, again, it's an extra week, so I don't know how I feel about that. But I mean, like, I think he's definitely doing his thing. I don't know. I still think Michael Thomas's receptions in a less week than he had is more impressive if Cooper Kupp breaks it with an extra week to go. I also think Megatron's receiving record with less than a week, with one less week than Cooper Kupp, is also better, because who in the world was on that Detroit Lions team? Who? Opposite Megatron. We literally have still shots of this man catching the ball over 3 or 4 defenders by himself.
I remember watching a game in 2014, the year my son was born. It was Monday Night Football. It was the Chargers and it was the Lions. And they doubled Calvin on the line of scrimmage before the play even happened. He runs a deep post. There's now 3 or 4 guys on him, and Matt Stafford's like, "Go get it!" And then he went up and just came down with over 4 people. I was like,
"Yeah,
there's nothing you could do."
And that doesn't take anything from Cooper Kupp, because, like I said, he's excellent and he's amazing. And honestly, I think right now, you definitely could say he's the best wide receiver in the league right now, because it doesn't lie, numbers don't lie. But I think those 2 records are just, like, for me, I think if it's not done on just even playing field with the league and everything, I don't know, because again, like, people keep forgetting Michael Thomas. I feel like Michael Thomas was catching 11 balls every game, like almost every game, and I was like, how is this possible? Like, he's coming. Every defensive coordinator knows he's coming, right?
Boy.
Like, just a slant monster. Like,
can't guard Mike, man.
Just hands.
How do you feel about the sack record?
Exactly. How do you feel about the sack record?
Because TJ Watt, he may have the 18 weeks, but he also missed like 3 or 4 weeks.
He's played.
I like TJ Watt's better, more so because I don't like Strahan's record. I was watching Strahan's record when Brett Favre just happened to just magically fall over and just give him the sack record, and I was just like,
TJ only needs one to tie.
Yeah. So I mean, TJ's actually doing his thing, man. Like
And
again,
TJ Watt.
if he's
TJ
playing
is-
Hundley
The
next
Browns
week, he may
basically
have a
handed
chance.
him the record.
Yeah.
Because it felt like every play on Monday Night Football, he was stacking Baker Mayfield.
but they tried.
Every
They
other
tried though.
play.
They tried. They tried.
Jesus.
Baker is also a statue back there because he's an egg.
I felt bad for him. It
Baker
was
I felt bad for him
Bumfield.
too.
duck.
I felt bad for him too, man. It's like, you know, but I think TJ is awesome. It's just crazy how, like, I mean, there's one Watt brother who I think was like a fullback or something like that, but it's just like you could have just picked him just off of just clout, like, oh, he's JJ's brother, and now you get a Hall of Famer. Like, yeah, it's just that family. I don't know what they put in the water. I don't know what's going on.
The
What's
Wisconsin
that shit-
boys,
the
man,
chicken,
they're
bro.
just like
They're farm
That chicken.
grown, like just throwing
All that
haytails,
organic food
like,
they be eating, man. Tell you.
he's
Before
better
we
than
move
J-
on to this
than
defensive,
JJ.
because I want to talk about the defensive player of the year, but I would be not me if I didn't pull the curtain back a little bit and talk about the Jets-Bucks game, because I don't know if you was aware, James and Anthony, did y'all see the chat on Sunday when the Jets were winning? And Dylan and Roz has got the pom-poms going. And we hate Tom Brady. We
still
made
do.
Antonio Brown retire. This is
Stills, that still happened.
both of
Forget
those
draft.
things are still
Wait.
true.
It was fuck the draft position. We don't care. Just
Both,
beat
but-
Tom Brady.
All of
This
those
is gonna
things
be a
is
great
in
game.
Wait.
And then
Both of them.
the
Both of 'em.
line went dead.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Silence.
I'll admit,
in
I got
the
sick.
chat.
That's not true.
I'll
That's
admit,
false,
I got sick.
falsifying the record. I actually
Silence
responded.
in the
I am
chat.
on record. I'm on record. Pull up the receipts, responding to everything that was happening during that time. I actually wanted them to lose, to be quite honest with you, because again, I'm on this journey to where I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, which
Oh,
is
God, here comes the Bummy Jets talk.
the Jets. All right, listen, like I'm gonna keep saying it over and over again, and you guys understand. Like what you guys are seeing, people don't remember how bad Seattle was before Russell Wilson came along. We don't remember that.
That's very
No
true.
one remembers that. No one wants to talk about that. Seattle was a laughing stock after Sean Alexander left that team. And it was a whole big thing because it was like they got Marshawn Lynch from Buffalo. You know, Marshawn's going to go to Seattle and just ruin his career. You know, you got the ghost of Matt Hasselbeck at QB. And then this upstart good guy who's just, look, high completion rate, a bunch of touchdowns, barely into any interceptions. He comes in and they're like, yeah, we wonder how Russell Wilson's going to be, right? Team takes off, has a few guys they draft in between the 4th and 6th round. You get the Richard Shermans, you get the Bryce Halls, you know, you get the Cam Chancellors. We still don't have our Cam Chancellor, but you start getting guys who
We're
get
about
picked
to
in the
have
later rounds and they start flashing, they start coming on, and everybody's like, oh, they could be okay. And everybody's like, oh, Legion of Boom. Oh my God, the Seattle Seahawks are a powerhouse, right? The Jets are showing glimpses of actually getting it right, man.
Oh,
And I'm just
God.
sitting here like, you can't tell me that you
So
came
you
into
have
that
Russell-
Bucks game.
You
Wait,
have
wait.
Russell
So
Wilson. You have Russell
no,
Wilson.
we don't have Russell Wilson. I'm just trying to give you
Yeah,
a
Zach
parallel.
Wilson.
We have Zach Wilson, right? No relation, by the way.
Mormon
I
Missile.
wanna tell you, right? Just think about this, right? If you're looking for a team that's possibly up and coming, right? And you look at the Jets, they've doubled their win total from last year already,
Oh, my God.
right?
2 to 4.
Why
Is that double?
are we
Is it not
talking
double?
about this?
Is
that
it not
double?
double? Is it not double?
What is going on here
Is it
right
not
now?
double? Is it not
Anthony, you
double?
know your role and shut your mouth.
Right?
Or wisdom is coming.
Is it not double? You have to start somewhere, right? The Jets weren't going to be good this year. Everyone knew that. But did you go into the game and say,
This
wow,
man
the Jets?
said they doubled their win total from.
They did. They
The
did.
guys are 4-12.
You're correct. That's correct. But like I was saying, if you went into that game and said to yourself, the Jets are going to take the Tampa Bay Bucks down to the wire, right? Then you should be actually winning this lottery that's ballooning right now to over $600 million. You need to play for me because I don't think anyone on this chat ever thought that the Jets were going to take Tom Brady and those Buccaneers down to the last wire, me included.
I watched
Right?
the Fox pregame show, and they didn't even pay that game any mind. They said,
Right?
does anybody here think the Jets have a chance? No,
Right?
moving on.
Now, let me tell you this to make things even more interesting is that you have a rookie quarterback with wide receivers you've never even heard of. Right? Never even heard of.
Great Mims on the team.
Yeah,
He's dead to me.
He played zero. He played zero snaps, Mike. By the way, he played zero snaps.
You know who he had? Honey Nut
Right?
Berrios, the boy Braxton.
Right? But think about this, right? Think about this. Tom Brady played his heart out. He played his heart out. He's a super competitor. One of the things I actually admire about Tom Brady, he doesn't care who he's playing. He didn't take his foot off the gas. Todd Bowles didn't take his foot off the gas. But guess what?
Yeah,
because Bowles hates the Jets.
Guess what?
They both hate the Jets.
Antonio Brown, right? Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Tom Brady was getting out-dueled by a rookie quarterback who was playing Braxton Berrios, Jeff Smith, Keelan Cole, and I think maybe Vincent Smith was active. And
do you guys know what Keelan
out-dueling
like?
Tom Brady throughout most of the game. So if you're a Jets fan, are you going to tell us that we shouldn't be happy about that? Going in with like
very much so be happy
the
about
third
that.
most cap space and possibly top 10 picks, 4 picks in the top 40, 7 in the top 115.
You know what?
Here's my response to that.
Exciting team looks like. They look like the Cincinnati Bengals. That's what a young
with
Oh my God! A team with more than 4 wins.
Oh
my
God! Quarterback.
A team that's actually winning games.
Did they win games in the year?
What I'm trying to say is things changed very quickly because the Bengals were a laughing stock before Joe Burrow came there.
And Joe Burrow, even his rookie season, was losing games, throwing the ball 55 times a game.
And then he got injured. And everybody said, we don't know if Joe Burrow's going to be the same person. And then they go and get Jamar Chase, right? They start adding pieces. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow. Like, you know, they start getting Trey Hendrickson in free agency. You know, we're talking about Carl Lawson's also coming back next year, too, by the way. And the Jets have another free agency coming up. So we even get a chance to see the Jets. And they're playing again. I know you guys don't want to hear it. And I'm going to leave it at this. The Jets, historic the amount of minutes these rookies have logged. You will never see it again probably in your lifetime. You will never see the amount of rookies playing for the Jets right now because literally you have a draft where you have 2 starters on defense, at least 2 quarterbacks, right? A quarterback, a running back, and a wide receiver.
And a left
in
guard.
one draft. I'm just saying, like, remember this when we talk later about how the Jets are in the offseason. Because again, right?
Do y'all come prepared with your 30 reasons as to why the Jets are 4-12?
No, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. You knew the Jets were going to beat the Titans. You knew the Jets were going to beat the Bengals. You knew the Jets were going to take the Buccaneers down to the wire. You also knew that the Jets were going to play the most rookies in NFL history. But I'm going to say this is that do not be surprised if the AFC East is going to be vying for it in the next 2 years as the best division in football.
Bruh, the Jets suck. The Jets suck.
Go to the Raiders. Anyway, let me address Mike's comments now.
2 years.
It is and it always will be fuck Tom Brady. 100%. So don't ever forget that, any of you here. What was the second one, Michael?
How quiet it got once y'all started losing.
No, we had 2. We had another one before we got to how quiet it got. It became the, let's win this game. And I'm on record saying I don't know what the fuck I was watching out of MetLife Stadium because that was not the Jets team that I was used to watching all year.
Correct.
Against that good of a team. So, yes,
Correct.
What am I watching in MetLife Stadium? I may have said, what am I watching in JetLife Stadium? But I still said it. And, yes, I got quiet when Tom Brady won because I was sick. Because I hate Tom Brady. Buddy of mine asked, what type of things are you wishing for during this game, Dylan? I said, I want Tom Brady to step on the field and sever his spinal cord. I've said many a thing.
The thoughts and remarks from Dylan do not represent.
They don't represent and speak on it, but they represent me.
I don't agree with this Tom Brady or anyone.
I don't agree with you either.
And then I said, you know what? I hope he doesn't have a massive injury like that. I hope something else happens that I probably won't say because it may come off even worse. But it doesn't involve him physically being hurt or dying. It just involves him retiring for good. I'll tell you all off air. But yes, I got quiet because it seems like there's three things that are constant in my life: death, taxes, and Tom Brady whoops my ass in the last second of the game. And that's just
you wouldn't be the only one in the league.
For me, it's like kind of just segueing a little bit. Like, I just want to talk about the playoffs for a sec. You know, teams that actually have winning records. Like when I look at the AFC and like the NFC, it's like, for me, it's like, I'll be honest, the NFC is not as exciting as the AFC for me, because the AFC, okay, I'm looking at the top 4 teams. I'm even looking at the Patriots and, yes, unfortunately, the Chargers and the Colts right now. Any one of those teams can make it out of that conference.
There's 2 teams that can't.
Me personally, I could see any one of those teams.
I see the Patriots not making it.
Wait, the Patriots locked up a spot, I thought.
Yeah, they did. But I don't see them making it through. They're gonna have to rely on quarterback play.
It depends. I think the Patriots could win that first round.
Because the thing is, no offense, Mike, I can see the Bengals, I can see the Chiefs, and I can see the Bills going into Nashville and beating the Titans. Not saying it'll be easy, but I can see them going into Nashville beating Tennessee.
Because they got their ass beat by the Jets.
Oh my god!
I will reference that win to the day I die.
I can even see Indy. I can even see Indy for a round 3 with y'all going into Nashville and winning. Now, if you go into the NFC side, we're talking about the Green Bay Packers. We're talking about Lambeau. I don't see any team from the NFC that can go into Green Bay and beat them right now. I just don't. You know, I was saying Tampa Bay, but, you know, after losing, you know, Godwin, and then you're losing Antonio Brown, I'm not so sure Tom Brady can do that anymore, you know? So the AFC has much more of my attention, honestly, right now. Like,
they're healthier, I think, overall.
I don't think the Packers are an unbeatable team.
Who can go into Lambeau? Who has the best shot of going into Lambeau?
The Rams.
I think the Rams could beat them.
But the Rams already got smacked by them.
Doesn't mean
I think the Rams could
differently
beat them
the second time around.
I think the Cardinals and the Cowboys. Those are your best 2 bets: the Cardinals and Cowboys.
The Cowboys?
Yes.
No. Hell no.
The Cowboys play up to their potential. They could.
Which they haven't done
offensive juggernaut.
They never play up to their potential.
They never play up to their potential.
Oh, they have. When they played against the Washington football team, they
played up to their potential. It's the Washington game football team, man. I mean, but again, we lost to them.
I'm about to say.
We lost to them. But then it's still a Washington football team. It's still a Washington football team, man. I mean, two things can be true. 2 things can be true, man.
I mean, I'm just telling you that I think the Cowboys, when they're good, when they're firing at all cylinders, I think they can really get fits because, I mean, Micah Parsons is a demon coming off that edge, man, against Aaron Rodgers, but his lack of mobility because of that toe. You know, the teams that have gotten to Aaron Rodgers, ones that have gotten to him, like with pressure on the edges, really, Tom Brady's usually pressure up in his face, but you know, like all the losses that you see in Aaron Rodgers have faced is usually come at like game losing sacks and strip fumbles and pressure when it's, you know, like I think Micah Parsons, you know, Lawrence coming off the edge. Don't discount the Cowboys can put up an easy 40 on the Packers, man. Like they have horses.
Don't dismiss the boy Trayvon Diggs too. He may get a bunch of yards, but he can steal the ball too.
Listen, they have to get
Gallup is a huge loss for them, by the way. Too.
Yeah, that's a huge loss.
Terrible timing for them. Terrible timing.
But they have enough. They have enough.
Between Cooper, Gallup, Schultz, and I forgot who number 1 is on there because he played well. During
season two.
CD. They got Cooper.
That's the one thing. I think if the Cowboys come and they play defense, they could win that game.
Yeah, they can do that.
Especially because of how feast or famine Trayvon Diggs is. He's like the biggest X factor in no matter game they play in because you don't know if he's going to give up 200 yards receiving or if he's going to get like 40 yards allowed but have 3 interceptions.
He gave up 1,000 yards.
1,000-yard corner.
1,000 yards this year
And
already.
like, the thing with Micah Parsons is, I wish I had this picture ready for you. I should have done a better job preparing on my end. But like, when you take a look at where he's lined up all season, he's like 20% everywhere. He's not lined up in one spot.
That's a nightmare.
Like your TJ Watts and your Aaron Donalds and all these guys are have these crazy double team percentage and QB pressure numbers. Micah Parsons literally lines up at the edge, at middle linebacker, outside linebacker, at safety. He has like 5 lineups at corner this year. He's lined up in the middle of the defensive line, and he has offensive snaps.
That's a nightmare for offensive
He's
coordinator.
It's a nightmare. Freak. And the thing is, he's a rookie. And once he gets his brain going, he's going to be the scariest defensive player I think I've ever seen.
If he stays healthy, man.
So quick, just yes or no. If TJ Watt breaks the sack record, does that give him the defensive player of the year?
Yes.
Or he has it already.
Or if he doesn't break it, does Micah Parsons have a chance?
I think Micah Parsons will get votes. Massive chance.
He will get votes, but he will not win. He will not win over TJ Watt.
If TJ Watt breaks the record, I don't think he'll win. But if TJ doesn't break the record, I think he has a chance.
What Micah Parsons is doing is insane.
He still does it. He still wins. He still wins defensive player of the year.
TJ still wins it.
I would love to see TJ win it. I would love to see TJ win it, but like, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if Micah won. I'd be like, hell yeah.
Wouldn't shock me either.
It wouldn't shock. Listen, he definitely deserves votes. He will not win defensive player of the year. He has defensive rookie of the year locked up. He's a crazy generational talent. But TJ Watt, even the fact that he's close enough to breaking the sack record, he will win that. And by the way, there's a few guys who are having like huge sack numbers. Like I mentioned before, Trey Hendrickson has like I think like 15.
He has like 18. He's like 17
or like 17 sacks. Like
Nick
has like 17 too.
Yeah, they have like Nick Bosa
having a phenomenal season.
You know, like there's a lot of guys who are having really great sack number years, but I think the fact that he's the one that's close enough to the sack record is what puts him over the top. And I think Micah Parsons is going to get some votes. But I don't think him just stealing the defensive player of the year is going to happen. He would have to have, which he can, he would have to have an absolute monster game, like at the last. And I think Dallas, actually, I mean, I don't know. I feel like after that loss to Arizona, I feel like Dallas is going to rest a lot of guys. I feel like Dallas is going to just kind of mail it in and get guys healthy.
They can't move up
to them.
I don't think so. After Arizona
lost, if Dallas beat Arizona and Green Bay lost either on Sunday to Minnesota or against Detroit, that means Dallas would have gotten home field advantage.
Yes, correct. But they lost, man. Yeah,
which sucks. But that was
Cowboys gonna Cowboys. So.
I think even when before we continue, even if you go through like all the numbers the other guys are having, even TJ Watt, I didn't realize TJ Watt had like 18 sacks until like last week where he had 17. And then I was like, that just shows the season that Micah Parsons is having because he was the only one anyone was ever talking about.
Because he's new, he's a rookie, and it's like you don't see that. So it's like, you know, we expect TJ Watt to get between 14 and like maybe 17 sacks because he just got the huge contract, his resume. But Micah Parsons, we just want to know if he was going to be like a tweener. We don't know what he's going to be because, you know, remember Isaiah Simmons was in the draft not too long ago. We thought that Isaiah Simmons was going to be what Micah Parsons is right now. Line up everywhere, Swiss Army knife, rush the passer, drop back, play a little bit of like slot corner or whatever coverage. Micah Parsons is an absolute animal. Like they just produce like once every few years. Penn State just produces like crazy people at like positions, like you know, like just monsters, like Saquon Barkley and Larry Johnson. All these
Saquon was a monster in college.
A monster.
Keyword is
beat Ohio State by himself.
Yes, monster. Like they just make monsters here and there. Like you just gotta time it.
I'm glad y'all brought him up because, you know, we don't talk about that other New York team a lot.
I wish we did. It's okay. It's all right.
Because I can, as much as I hate the Jets and I think they're just a stain on the NFL, I will say that you guys are at least better than the Giants. The Giants are just. I was watching Joe Judge's press conference after they got
What
destroyed.
an asshole!
A clown
Like,
What
organization.
an asshole!
He's just, I don't even know what to make of it. Like, just
You know what it is,
Best part
Dylan?
about it is
Dylan, you know what it
they're,
is. You know what it is.
Here, and the Giants are going this way. We're in
It's-
two opposite trajectories, and it's fantastic.
It's the Bill Belichick coaching tree. It's the fruit from the rotten tree. All the fruit from that tree is literally just you can't have it. It's not good. All the guys that come from over there, they're terrible head coaches, basically.
bad,
They're
man.
awful
Just
head
bad.
coaches.
The best thing about it is
Like-
we got a report saying that Daniel Jones and Joe Judge were going to be back next year.
And that was music.
Bears loss
Music to my ears.
may have gotten Joe Judge fired.
No, his mouth is
That-
going to probably get
His,
him
that
fired.
that loss
His press
and that
conference
press
is going to
conference because
torpedo him.
he was safe, and then he was down 14 in the first quarter or in the first 5 minutes of the game to Andy Dalton and the
Andy
bum
Dalton.
Bears.
Yep.
And you get this ass whooping, and then you go out and you have this press conference talk about I have guys on other teams who are getting paid more money who still text me telling me they wish they were here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And we're not a clown organization.
Yeah.
Right? Like we're not a
That
clown
was-
How do you
organization.
do that?
He was talking
That
about
was
you don't
as
see.
bad a press conference as you could have for
It's
that
close to-
circumstance.
It's close to the Izzik. Speaking of the Jets, it's close to the Izzik no talking that he did. That got him fired. I think Joe Judge literally could have just not said any words, and it would have been like, you know what, we need to play better. We're not playing good, and that's it.
It's like, oh, it's like one of my
Sad,
best
man.
friends. One of my best friends. He's a Giants fan, die hard. He's constantly frustrated. Like he's like, when is this gonna end?
Gonna be me.
No, it's worse. No, the Giants are in a worse position
the
than
Giants are more frustrating because A, there's talent on the Giants team.
Oh yeah.
B, they have a much better reputation. Like this isn't normal for the Giants. The
Guys,
Giants,
John Mara is kicking trash cans in the stadium. He's going around punting trash cans. I've never, ever
Never seen anything like
in the
that.
history of football in my life ever heard of John Mara going around MetLife Stadium punting trash cans because he is so mad. Him getting booed at Ring of Honor ceremonies profusely. Like ringing boos, like drowning out what he's saying. I mean, like
that's
this is-
why the Giants
this is-
situation is worse.
the lowest.
Ooh.
The lowest of the low. This is low.
What's
For
the
years
record?
long.
What's the record since that boat trip they took a couple
This
years
is it. This is it.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
this is the boat trip.
This is it.
Yeah.
Like literally for years, it's always been, man, the Giants are such a better run organization than the Jets, and for years it has been. Forever, it's been that way, and now it's like I'd
22
rather
and
have the
50.
Jets front office right now than the Giants front office, and it's
I mean-
usually been I'd rather have Mara than Woody Johnson, and now
Yo,
it's like who knows?
We at least
Trump
recoup.
was the best thing that ever happened to y'all because Trump sent Woody over to England, and the
And we
Jets
got-
turned
and then we were
the
awful.
Jets turned into, but they had to hire people that actually know what they're talking about,
We
and
get a chance to hire
slowly-
people.
it's just moving at a snail's pace. But the Jets are
Well, if
doing
you think
better
about it,
than
the only
Jets.
person that's left on this regime from Chris Johnson is Joe Douglas, and he was like a last minute hire after everybody was already fired and hired from before. So he had to pick up the pieces. Saleh was a Joe Douglas hire once Woody came back, and everybody else was Woody coming back. So it's like that. Those Chris Johnson years are awful. If you really
Yeah,
think
it's
about
Gase. Nothing's worse than Gase. I've never
Gase
seen
and
anything worse.
Idzik and
He's worse than Kosai.
McCagnon and fucking Bowles. I hated Bowles. But
McCaggon's
man,
about to be the new. He's about to be the new Giants GM.
y'all
No
know
way.
nobody wants that. Nobody
No
wants
way.
that.
That's not happening. Is that are you serious? That's not real.
That's the word around town.
All right, the Giants are worse than I
Good
thought they
for
were.
y'all.
But,
Good for the Giants. Do it.
I will say there's a part of me that is happy that this is happening to the Giants, mainly because the media was just so hell bent that everything was Odell Beckham's fault. It was just he's a cancer. It's him.
Look at him out there in
Odell.
LA right now.
And the Giants have been
Balling.
god awful since he left. They tried to do the same thing to him in Cleveland. The Browns have fallen apart. And like you said, he's over in LA catching
Enjoying
fourth
himself to
quarter
the
clutch
fullest.
touchdowns
Yeah.
and dancing
Enjoying
in the
himself.
end zone.
He's
Super
already
happy for Odell.
he's
Super
already
happy.
surpassed his touchdown total from his
Exactly.
entire. It was from his entire tenure with the Browns. He's already surpassed it.
Because he doesn't have Baker Bumfield throwing the ball to him.
No, but for the longest time, everybody was
I've
Team
ever
Baker.
seen in the NFL.
Everybody was Team Baker for the
It's
longest
because
time.
everybody loves hating Odell.
I was Team Baker. I thought
I
Baker,
wasn't Team
I
Baker.
thought Baker
Not
I
at
was
was
all.
always Team
getting
Odell.
killed,
Never.
getting killed for no reason too.
Odell was
But-
getting killed because he was the only person trying to hold Eli Manning accountable in that locker room and got chastised for it.
No, he was a nutcase on
He
the
was.
Giants.
But
But
when
I
it
didn't
came
think
to
that
that,
What define that? What did he do? Because he got
the pissing
frustrated.
touchdown.
And
Nah, he was a bit of a.
and the thing
Mike,
bounced back
Mike,
and hit him.
Mike,
was
the
a
guy
bit of
was
a
like
nutcase.
headbutting. He was like
He was a bit of a
headbutting things,
nutcase.
Mike. He's like at the best case scenario. At the best case scenario, they should have got a shrink in there for him. Worst
But
case
when Tom
scenario,
Brady does that, it's passion.
no, Mike. Tom Brady doesn't.
Nah, Tom Brady
doesn't
Tom
headbutt the
Brady
goal.
does it. It's
Mike,
look at passionate Tom. He
No,
wants to
no.
win
No,
so
Listen,
but Brady.
listen.
No, but Brady is.
I agree with you on that. I think Tom Brady and them giving Odell hell for that versus Tom Brady is crap. What I'm trying to tell
I
you is
disagree.
that what I'm gonna tell you that is that Odell was literally going into fist fights. He went parallel to the ground and like he looked like Chris Benoit when he went parallel to the ground and headbutted Josh Norman. I don't know if you remember that. Like he got
I
so
do.
upset that
I mean, that
launched
was-
himself,
but
and he
them
was
two-
getting into fist
them two
fights.
were literally fighting on the field.
No,
Like
he
let's
also
not
got
act
in the-
like Josh Norman
No,
was a saint
listen.
that day.
He-
We're just gonna play football and
No.
Odell
But
went
it's
crazy.
different.
No, them two
It's-
was going at it.
It's different. He also went. He also went at it with that quarterback on the Vikings, where he was getting mad because the guy was telling him like, he's saying you can't guard me, and he's like, well,
Xavier
I'm guarding
Rhodes.
you. Xavier Rhodes. He goes over there and they get in a massive fight. That's the game that he gets headbutted by the kicking like goalpost or something like that. That he's there going crazy on the sideline. Here's the thing: Odell's talent was transcendent, right? And regardless of how people feel about that, right? I just don't think it was enough for you to just ship him out because he was
Yes.
still so good. I think the Giants failed him because if he's having issues, right? And we're all about taking care of the players and everything like that, bring in someone to help him. And maybe they did do that, but you still got to bring more help. You're a multi-billion-dollar franchise. Surround this guy with as much help, as much support as you possibly can because the talent is so high that, you know what I'm saying? He's not out here. Like Odell did a interview that they didn't like. All right, he's not out here getting DUIs, doing
None
crazy
of it.
stuff. So they
Never
need to
been arrested.
support him. And he's just been a competitor on the field. And I respect that, right? I think he could have handled that better. But I don't think that he needs to be vilified like they did and ran out of town, especially by Dave Gettleman, who goes ahead and picks Saquon Barkley at number 2, and everyone's singing his praises. Like
The same
you
Dave
know, like,
Gettleman that paid him that massive contract and traded him like 2 months later.
and told him that they wouldn't trade him. So I mean, like, listen, he's right. They sent him to Cleveland as a punishment. They didn't send him to Cleveland because that's the best
They
offer
tried to
that
make the
they
team
got.
better. Exactly.
It's not whatever that it's a punishment because they could have taken other things and they could have said, hey, everyone wanted Odell Beckham. You could have got multiple first round picks from different people, but they were like, we got multiple picks from Cleveland, and we get to send him somewhere where he's not going to shine and he's not going to be in the media and he's not going to make us
have the
look
media
bad.
that he wants so
You know,
bad.
they did that. They did that on purpose, and the Giants get what they deserve for that. The
I
Giants
never understood how they pretty much just blamed every problem that the organization was having on him. I never
my
understood
point.
That's
the
weird.
media, the fans hate him.
The fans
And I'm like,
turned on. But I'm going to tell you,
What has
it
he
wasn't
actually
all the
ever done?
fans. It
Score
wasn't all
touchdown.
the fans. It was the reason is because the majority of the Giants fan base, their hardcore fan base, are conservative white males, and Odell rubs them the wrong way. They don't like that Odell is the best player on the team, and he dances in the end zone, and he does
Well-
use the slang. That was very, and the media doesn't like it because of the same reasons. And They said no. As soon as he does anything that they don't like, see, he's the problem. And then the Giants were losing because Eli was old. So
exactly.
What are we going to do? We're going to blame everything on Odell because we can't blame, and I love you. I think Eli's a Hall of Famer, but we're not going to blame the golden boy Eli because he's clearly old and can't play anymore. We're going to blame the loud black guy that dances in the end zone.
Well,
no,
I'll
it's
say
true
this.
because it's been like literally when my one thing with Odell, which I will always defend him on, when nobody was trying to blame Eli Manning or hold Eli Manning accountable, Odell Beckham Jr. was the only one saying we can't throw the ball down the field. Like we need to make changes to keep moving and grow and get better as a team. And he was the only one trying to do that.
Well, I'll say this: like, it's all his antics, all his other stuff like that is cool and fine, like any other football team. When you have malcontents like Antonio Brown on the Steelers, like Odell Beckham, we're not doing this. Is when the talent is there and you're winning, people will take anything, like anything. But because people still have ideas of the Super Bowl winning Giants with Tom Coughlin, him being the hard grind it player. Everyone stays in line. No one's going to get out of line. It's grind it and everything like that. Like that's when it's like, oh, we're losing. And now, we need to get a scapegoat. And the scapegoat happened to be Odell, unfortunately. And for all the reasons that you said, Dylan and Mike, about what should have actually happened, right? And they should have been addressed. They went ahead. And like I said, the Giants get what they deserve. They trotted out the ghost of Eli Manning, and they wanted him to have his farewell tour instead of actually investing in a quarterback. Because here's the thing. Hindsight is crazy, right? Sam Darnold is not a good quarterback, right? But to pick Saquon Barkley at number 2 with Eli Manning coming behind you, I don't care if you say Saquon's good and he had such a great season. If it wasn't for the injury, blah, 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 blah. You cannot pick a running back at 2, right? Unless you better be damn sure that's Barry Sanders. That's like every major Hall
or
of
you're
Famer
running back away from the Super Bowl, which for some reason the Giants thought they were.
And
the Giants thought they were Saquon Barkley away from the Super Bowl.
You just give away you give away your best talent on the field, and you're gonna say Saquon Barkley is gonna be the one that's gonna, like, he had an amazing rookie season and he was great. His talent, and he did
really good.
And so it's like,
really good.
And this is what I tell people. Sometimes it's the process, and it's like you can't always like say, okay, the end result takes away from the process. The process is you don't draft a running back based upon many different factors at number 2 unless you're sure, right, that he's going to be a Hall of Famer, right? Just like drafting a safety 10th overall with the Jets, right? You don't draft a safety that high unless you're sure he's Ed Reed. He has he can't have no weaknesses. He can fill the box. He can play single high. He can even come down and play the slot. You can't draft a top 10 pick on the safety, right? And Jamal Adams was awesome. He made this Pro Bowl and everything like that.
All-Pro.
But again, right, would you still say, right, the process still works out the same? Deshaun Watson is the pick there. Baker Mayfield is the pick there. Sam Darnold's the pick there. Pat Mahomes is the pick there. It doesn't change the process. The process will let you know, hey, guys, listen, right? These are impact positions that cost the most money, that will get you the most years over the life of the contract and talent. Quarterback, cornerback, right? I think who was it that said you need to get to the quarterback, be the quarterback, or defend the pass, right? Those are the 3 major ones that you need to make sure, and those are the core positions in the NFL. They get the most money, they have the best longevity, they produce a lot of Hall of Famers in that. Oh, and protect the quarterback as well too, right? The left tackle, right? Those 4 places. Running back, shelf life is very low, right? Safety, like I said, like you have to be all of those things. And the Giants, when they had a prime opportunity, top 2 pick, they went and chose Saquon Barkley, right?
They could have went Quentin Nelson there too,
right? I mean, like it's the same thing. Now it compounds. Now you have Saquon Barkley. Now you don't have a quarterback, so now you're gonna play. Let me go reach for Daniel Jones, right? we all knew it was a reach when they chose Daniel Jones. But then it's like, oh,
Yellowman got bullied into that pick.
Yeah, because at that point, Eli is on his last legs.
Go sign my boy. He's really good.
Go sign my boy. By the way, Peyton Manning should never be allowed anywhere near MetLife Stadium in any capacity.
Ever.
For either team, right? Right. So it compounds. Then you're like, okay, I have Daniel Jones. Like, I know maybe he's not good. We're going to get Andrew Thomas, right? So it's like, that's a sound pick. You protect the quarterback, et cetera, et cetera. Andrew Thomas, maybe. I don't know. He could be better, right? He could be good. But everything compounds. Now we have to overpay for Kenny Galladay when you could have had Odell Beckham on this contract still, right? So that money could have been somewhere else, like maybe protecting the quarterback more, or maybe even getting a pass rusher like a Bud Dupree or any of those guys that came out that year, like a Trey.
But they paid Leonard Williams instead.
But they paid Leonard Williams, right? Because we can't trade for alignment. Leonard's been good, but we can't trade for alignment, and then now we don't want to just pay his 5th year and not get anything back. You just keep putting yourself into situations where you have no choice. The Giants are in a really bad situation. The only thing that's good for them is that they have multiple draft picks and they're the Giants. That's it.
I'll tell you what else is good for the Giants. They don't have this man on their team.
Fun fact, the Jets ended his career.
No. Here's the funny thing. By somebody I really, really respect. Shout out to Jacinia Anderson over at ESPN. She is saying that really if good. Antonio Brown wants to play for a team, he can. Which means that there are teams that are willing to sign this man right now, even amongst everything that he's done.
I can't see it.
But listen, she's very reputable. Yep. She hasn't let me down anything, and she's done a really great job. I trust her and her sources. If she says that there are people that are willing to sign this man, then I believe if he wants to suit up, he can suit up. Now the question is,
I can confirm that. I did see those sources too. There are actually teams that do want.
I don't know how you could look at anything Antonio Brown has done over the last 4 years, and then that happens where he gets told to get put in the game. He says, "No, I'm hurt," even though he got targeted 8 times that game, had 5 catches already, and you throw your shoulder pads off because you got pulled the fucking bounce.
I think this is kind of like that time where we need to talk about why he did it, because there have been reports that have surfaced as to why he did what he did. Apparently, I can't confirm this all the way, but it was speculated that they were trying to freeze him out.
They were trying to put him in the game.
No, they were trying to freeze him out from getting his money, because again, he needed a certain amount of catches or
I don't know about that.
Here's why that doesn't hold any water for me.
I don't believe
right?
That. There's 2 games left. He has another game.
He has 2 games left. He already got targeted 8 times in that game. He was getting targets. They tried to put him back in the game twice, and then he said no. He was hurt.
Yeah.
So when he refused to go in, and that's when they're like, "All right, if you're not going to get in the game, get the fuck out." And then that's when he threw his shoulder pads off and started going through the end zone, doing all this. Like, I think that whole money thing is bullshit, because even if he didn't get this game, he would have been closer to get it next game.
Yeah.
And he would have got it.
And Tom Brady
would have gotten it to him.
Was chasing records himself too,
and he would have done it for Antonio.
Doubt in my mind, Antonio Brown.
And it was against the Jets. Tom Brady was going to target Antonio Brown all day long.
I will say this: the Jets were clamping him up, though. They were clamping him up. But I'm pretty sure Tom Brady, as he did, would have figured it out.
But here's the thing, right? This goes back to, and I think it's a perfect segue, right? You're talking about, like we just mentioned, Odell Beckham. The talent in the NFL has always been the thing that people are willing to swallow more than what the antics and offs. You've seen it. It's been the story for decades. They are willing to deal with a lot of what quote unquote malcontents if the talent on the field is great. You have Antonio Brown, you have Terrell Owens, you have Odell Beckham, you have even Randy Moss in some cases, which Randy Moss is probably the least out of all of them. But you have time and time again, right? Guys who have come into the league whose talent has been on display, and have been quirky or whatever you want to call them. Like I said, people call them quote unquote malcontents, where their talent is just so crazy. We're willing to just, hey, you want to take your shoulder pads off? I mean, I don't have nothing to deal with that. But guess what? In the Super Bowl, Antonio Brown balled out. That Tampa Bay Super Bowl, he caught a touchdown in that Super Bowl, and he completely cooked that cornerback too, by the way. I mean, he was vintage Antonio Brown. So a lot of these teams, it's COVID, it's injury time. What can put us over the top? Is there anything right now that's available for us off the waiver wire at this moment that's going to be a better talent than Antonio Brown right now, even when he threw his as long as the league allows him to play? I can't sit here and tell you guys there's a better wide receiver on the street right now that you can sign off the waiver wire better than Antonio Brown.
There's not, but
As
like
a playoff team, why do you care?
What are you saying to your football team by
how do you justify that?
How do you look at your wide receiver room and say you guys are so trash that we gotta bring this fool in here to help y'all?
Nope. I'm gonna say the same thing that Bruce Arians said to him. I'm gonna say, hey guys, you saw what happened to Antonio. I know you guys may feel a certain way about him. Let's rally around him. He's gonna come in here. The first hint that we get that he's being anything, he's gone. He's not gonna worry about it. Don't worry about that. Your spots are gonna stay the same. He's gonna play our fourth or fifth wide receiver. And if Antonio Brown is on the field as your fourth wide receiver, he's gonna give your defense fits.
But how do you, as a coaching staff and as players, respect him?
You tell these guys, some of these guys aren't even going to be on their team next year. They're playing for a championship. Some of these guys at this point in the playoffs are trying to play for their contracts. They might be. There's a lot of factors that go into this. But if you say here and say, listen, guys, you don't have to like this guy. He's going to be basically a mercenary, and he's going to get us through this playoffs, and you're going to play next to him. Because Antonio Brown did that to the Bucks, right? He didn't do that to
the Raiders.
And the Raiders, the Green Bay. No, that's fine. My thing is like this,
and the
right?
Steelers,
and the Bucks still took him back. You want to talk about the Bucks? The Bucks took him back after he had many different misgivings against them with the fake vax
That's
card
why Tampa
and
Bay
all these other things like
right
that.
Now.
No, they do, right? but does Tampa Bay want to take back that touchdown that Antonio Brown scored in the Super Bowl?
They might say it was all worth it. You're right. They might say it's all worth it.
That's what you say.
Stupid right now.
And that's what you say. And guys, if
they already got their Super Bowl.
Listen,
why would you risk it right now if you're not guaranteed to get that Super Bowl?
Because it's Tom Brady, right? And he has more pull. But I'm telling you, if you're Green Bay, right?
If I'm Green Bay, I want no parts of that.
I'm
the only
staying
teams I could see
away.
You're staying far
about it would be New Orleans or Arizona.
I don't know, man.
Anything with Antonio Brown and me,
if you're Arizona,
all you gotta do is. I mean, realistically, I think you guys are overthinking it. I mean, all you gotta do is bring him into the office and ask him, yo, like, why'd you do that? You know.
Yo, Anthony, would you take him back on your team? Would you take him back on your team after what he did to you?
Hold on. If I was a GM, I would bring him into my office and I would have a man-to-man, hour-long talk to him about why he did what he did, what was deeply troubling him that made him want to do what he did.
I should have known that. You thought Henry Ruggs was going to suspend it for 6 games.
But Anthony, that would be what you would do with a normal play. This man is a proven liar, and
he's already burned the Raiders.
This is what he is.
And you want him back?
Mike,
but hold on. Who said anything about me needing to like him as a person?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't need to. I will agree. You do not need to like him as a person. But
like, I don't give a crap about him as a person.
The best ability is availability.
Yeah, but
what is his availability?
But you just only need him for at most like 4 or 5 games.
Because if you're a playoff,
you're paying a minimum league wage.
Because you gotta say, if you're a playoff team already, you have, again, like you just said, Raz, about 4 or 5 games left.
You haven't answered my question, Anthony.
What?
Would you want him back on the Raiders after what he did to you guys?
If that initial talk I just talked about goes well, yes.
So even after he got his bag, then went out of his way to try to get released to get his full contract because he didn't want to play for the Raiders and fleece the Raiders.
He got his signing bonus and then said that he didn't like the helmet. And he's not going to play because he didn't like the helmet.
you guys are talking about morals versus just needing someone else to get you over the edge.
Like exactly.
Yes,
Like my thing is again,
Anthony
like I
has
don't.
answered my
Perfect.
question though.
But it comes. What
I
I'm trying
did.
to
I
say is
li-
it
I
comes
literally
back. Go ahead, Anthony. Go ahead.
I said like again, if the talks go well and things get smooth out, I'll give him another chance. At the end of the day, if I'm the Raiders, obviously, and let's just say we beat the Chargers, which we will anyway, but when we beat the Chargers and then go to the playoffs, and we're looking at Antonio Brown, we're like, we have to go to Cincinnati, or we have to go to Buffalo, or we have to go to Tennessee or Kansas City. All four of those places are hostile environments with teams who could drop 30 in their sleep. Yes, I'm gonna look at Antonio Brown.
Yes.
So
Who else? Who was better
all
than
of this
Antonio
is
Brown
all
on the waiver?
speculation at this point because he's still not released.
No, I
He's
know they still
a
haven't
member of
released
the
him,
Bucks.
which I don't know why the hell they haven't released him.
I mean, they could be being petty. We never know. They could be waiting for him. They could be getting back at him and saying, like, well, no, actually, let me not say that.
They've already
what,
killed
what
him.
what the word was is that they're trying to figure out how the league and the Bucks are going to handle his release because there's some issues with some contract things in there, right? So once they sort that out, then they're going to, of course, release him. My whole thing is this, right? And going back to what James and what Anthony was saying is that I think like you guys are talking about how you feel about the culture and the team, and I get all that and stuff like that, but if you're a team like the Cardinals, for instance, you're saying to yourself, I got Christian Kirk, I got DeAndre Hopkins, I have no idea who's after that.
AJ Green.
AJ Green
And Rondale
right?
Moore.
And Rondale Moore, I like Rondale Moore. I think he's going to be a great wide receiver at some point in this league. I will say this. You're a team like the Cardinals who are starving and the fan base who is starving for a Super Bowl, right? A lot of these other teams, even the LA Rams, a lot of these other teams have Super Bowls, have Super Bowl histories built into what they've done before, right? If you're going to say to yourself, like, I just need this guy just to be okay for 4 to 5. I want to build a wall. I want to do whatever I need to do around this dude for 4 to 5 games, right?
That's exactly what he did on the Bucks.
And that's exactly what he did on the Bucks.
Exactly.
They just said we need to just get whoever you need. You want to say with Tom Brady in his house,
You also had
watch
Tom
this
Brady
guy, like whatever.
for him every second he could.
Because listen, they put him with Tom. He stayed in Tom Brady's house. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, find the guy on the team that he is more comfortable with and say, hey, listen, man, for the team, for where we're trying to go, all you got to do is just hold this guy down, watch this guy. Now, some people may be like, I'm not dealing with that. That's fine. But if you can find a guy on the team that's going to say, you know what, I really want to chip, and then you watch Antonio Brown run those routes, and all of a sudden you see Antonio Brown getting 8 receptions, 101 yards, and a touchdown against in the playoffs and averaging that almost in the playoffs, you can't tell me you're going to find a better talent, maybe even offense and defensively in the way who are right now than Antonio Brown for 4 games.
And with that being said,
at league minimum.
And with that being said, Dylan, are you going to care if he's crazy after that?
Yes, because at the end of the day, you still have to make the decision.
Dylan, stop.
If your quarterback doesn't want that,
Dylan, stop.
To be fair, if you're going to bring him in and you're not going to address your quarterback,
of course you're going to address your quarterback.
And what happens? And I guarantee you, there is not a quarterback after what we saw happen on Sunday with Tom Brady who's going to say, "Yeah, I want that." No, but what happens in your first game with Antonio Brown, and the same thing happens.
He's not going to get out of the playoffs. Number one,
he's not going to get out of the playoffs. He has more character than that. He has more character than that.
You cannot say anything about Antonio Brown in character.
He's not that wild to do something like that.
Wait, question. Antonio Brown is having a reality show that he's doing right now. Antonio Brown just made headlines right now for what he's done. Do you think if Antonio Brown has a chance to get on a playoff team that could possibly win the Super Bowl, do you think that he doesn't want to win it? Wait, do you think that he does not want to win a Super Bowl in spite of everything that just happened?
Yeah, of course. He's going to want to get on the field.
You don't think that he's not going to want to get on the field and win a Super Bowl after everything that's happened?
His moral character is not going to allow.
I don't think he cares.
Anthony, nothing. You cannot put moral character and Antonio Brown in the same sentence.
What I'm trying to say is that Antonio Brown is getting interest, as he probably should, if all things are fair when it comes to just people focusing on talent, I personally, if it was the Jets, of course not, because the Jets are not trying to go for a Super Bowl, right? They're not in the playoffs. They're not going to play 4 games and have Antonio Brown there. But
keep Antonio Brown away from my Jets.
I tell you this: if Antonio Brown goes to the team and they win the Super Bowl, no one's going to even care from that fan base that he did what he did before.
No offense, Dylan,
if
but
he goes to like the Cardinals, the Raiders,
you're gonna see memes that say how it started, how it's going.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna see.
That's what you're gonna see.
That's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see a bunch of fan bases on a bunch of blogs talk about, I don't know what happened with Antonio, but I guess he just had to put on our jersey, blah, blah,
Mike,
blah,
I don't
blah,
know why
blah,
you're making this face. You know we live in the microwave era, bro. I don't know, Dylan, why you're making this face.
I know, I understand. Era.
I'm just saying, like, for me,
I don't know how
like,
you can take a shot at him. I don't.
Exactly. I
Mike,
just don't see
there's a million reasons why.
He has a track record of this.
But like the sad part about it is, Roz, he's like, I know you're right.
Time will tell.
Because somebody, you're like, we're going to completely ignore what just happened because he's great at football.
That's
like the most annoying part.
Hold on.
That's the NFL. It's always been that way.
Wait, but hold on. Here's a question. Here's a question. Mike, Tennessee Titans. Think about this situation. Julio's not really that healthy. AJ Brown, you never really know about him sometimes. Would you take a flyer on Antonio Brown? You wouldn't?
Nope.
You guys are in line. You guys are in line for a 1 seed.
Vrabel would punch him in his mouth.
He doesn't fit on our team because Vrabel would have none of that. But no, I'm not bringing that cancer.
If it was up to you,
a week before the playoffs. No.
If it was up to you, and you sat down with him and you had to talk with him. If it was up to you,
and that's what I'm trying to tell you, Anthony. No, because he's a liar. I wouldn't believe anything he told me. He's a liar.
But what does dishonesty have to do with 8 catches, 106 yards in the touchdown?
Ironically, I think of the only coaches who would be able to even possibly handle him, one of them would be Mike Vrabel because of how he is. He doesn't have a Tom Brady on that team who he has to cede to as far as like allowing somebody on there. If they let Antonio Brown on that team, it will be because Mike Vrabel is okay with handling him, and it will be Mike Vrabel only. He's not consulting Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, it's like, why are we talking about him being a liar? Who gives a fuck about his moral?
I don't know. Antonio Brown,
the
AJ
point that I'm
Brown,
making
and
is
Jones.
He's a liar. So if he comes in and tells me, yeah, coach, it was a messed up situation. Tampa Bay really did me bad. I wouldn't do that here. I'd be a model citizen, blah, blah, blah. And then literally come on the team. And then because Tennessee wants to run the ball 35 times during the game and not throw it to him, he throws a temper tantrum and throws his uniform off and runs.
He's gone. But then you're right back. But listen, you're right back to where you started then.
No, but then you're just right doing
but
it.
Now he's
and now you have a game plan without him.
Yeah, but that's a good point. Raj just brought up. You guys are still.
But how much of the playbook is you expecting Antonio Brown to come in to learn anyway?
That's another reason why it doesn't make any sense.
Now you involved him in a game plan.
Yeah,
and
but
now
I'm
you
trying
have
to
change the game plan.
No, what I'm trying to say is that you go into game planning for him to run a few routes. He's probably going to be at a pitch count because he can't absorb the whole playbook like that. Not saying that he doesn't have the capabilities, but I mean anybody that'd be a tall task, right? So you're going to probably scheme like 5 to 10 plays for him for the entire game. So it's not like he's going to change your whole entire game plan, right? But if you have Antonio Brown, AJ Brown, Julio Jones playing now, it adds a whole nother wrinkle to that Titans team.
Yes,
now you're wondering, like, hey, if I sit here and stack the box against Derrick Henry, I'm not only going to have to worry about AJ Brown, Julio's going to just be eating me alive in the middle of the field and across in routes. But now I have to worry about the speed and concise routes of Antonio Brown. Not many teams can deal with having Antonio Brown against their third cornerback. That's what makes the Bucs so crazy.
Don't want him on my team.
But that's the reason why the Bucs went so crazy is because you're asking a third cornerback to go against Antonio Brown.
Exactly.
That's not something any third cornerback can do. They're the third cornerback for a reason.
But what y'all are doing right now, y'all are doing this very black and white. that. We just put this is Madden, where we just put the player on the field.
No. I specifically said
just put him on the field.
You play him for 5 to 10 plays. You play him for 5 to 10 plays in specific packages, and you let him do what he does. And then he sits down and he comes on the team knowing that. So if he has any problems with that, he's gone. He doesn't have to throw his shoulder pads out while you're doing time,
money, and resources.
No, but the thing is, Mike,
waste your time and money?
Mike, you guys,
it's
Mike,
a matter of time before he does something again.
No, but here's the thing,
Mike, you're not wasting your money. If you guys at league minimum, who else would you get?
Anthony's trying so hard.
Who else would you get?
He's trying so hard to say something.
It's wild to me because, like, if you guys beat the Texans next week, you got the 1 seed. You're not even going to play in the first round of the playoffs. You literally only need the man for 3 games. 3 games. Are you still saying no?
A situation where you could separate the human from the player.
Are you still saying no to that? You're telling me no one on that organization can keep this man sane for 3 games?
Why? If you're part of the organization, you actually have to put into account that he is not like stable.
Correct.
Yes.
And you provide him the resources like a
$1 billion company would.
Ryan
Tannehill has
100 for 3 to 4 games.
Then you are now the 5th team that has maybe or maybe not, we don't know, provided the resources, given him everything he needs just from to burn them. We saw it with the Steelers.
Two of those teams actually have championships to speak for that, though, by the way.
Exactly.
We saw it from the Steelers. We saw it from the Raiders. He didn't even step on the field for the Raiders in a regular season game.
Two of those teams
went to the Patriots, shot on the Patriots owner and Robert Kraft on his way out of the fucking door, went to Tampa for, 6 games last year, came back here, won a championship. Wow, all is forgiven of the person because he won a championship.
I mean, that's why he played this year, because they forgave him because they won a championship.
Because he put everything aside, and then they got burned. So now it's, if your organization is like, what happens if I take the chance on him and then he burns me?
But again, but 2 out of, if you're betting,
just say it's it's not a waste of time, effort, money, and resources.
It's not. I don't think so.
It is.
But listen, if you're a betting man, 2 out of 3, and you get 2 championships out of that, you take those.
Well, this is the 5th. Yeah. This is the 5th team.
This is his 15th. But my
2
point,
titles on 5 teams.
But the ones that he played with, though.
What if he literally decides to do some nonsense? But
he played on the Raiders,
and then
the other 2 he won.
We do all
what
of
if
this.
he doesn't?
Let me give you this scenario. We do all of this. He's on his A behavior. We get to the AFC Championship game. We win the AFC Championship game. We get to the Super Bowl, and he decides to go do some dumb shit.
But he's not going to do that. He's
never
done that.
He's not going to.
That's literally how he got.
He's never done that.
He's not going to do that.
But he's never done that.
No, he's
never
never
done that.
No, he's not going to
do that on the Super Bowl winning Patriots team. He didn't do that.
But he did.
I'm talking about Mike's scenario. I'm talking about Mike's scenario.
I'm just talking about the scenario that we
his
have.
Moral character.
Mike just gave a scenario. Mike just gave a scenario.
What moral character?
That's not going to
happen.
He's
a selfish, lying con man.
And because he's a selfish man, he would definitely do his best to look best on the biggest stage in the entire planet during that time, which is the Super Bowl.
Of course, he's a showman.
Him saying he's going to be on his best behavior, and then he gets into another domestic.
He's not going to.
But he's gone.
But he did that already. But that's something we have fact. When he was on a football team, he got into a domestic issue.
But listen, here's the thing.
Vaccine card this year.
Correct.
Like
and
he
they
was
took him back.
Suspended.
And they took him back.
And then last year was the domestic issue on the Patriots.
But
that's not reflective of who he is as a person.
Yes, it is. A domestic violence issue isn't reflective of him as a person.
I'm gonna keep this strictly football, right? What has the history of the NFL and just the history of teams dealing with Antonio Brown tell you about how they view about his talent versus who he is as a person?
They don't care about him as a person. They care about him as how he produces on the athlete.
Trumps the person. And for the same reasons that I told you guys as to why he's even garnering interest after doing all of the craziest things you've probably ever seen a football player do on the field, just reinforces the idea that his talent is what they care about.
But I'm not debating whether or not he can play.
No,
but
I'm telling you,
we're just gonna put him on the field.
And I told you, you're
right. Some teams
love him on the Titans.
Some teams is going to put him on the field. Some team is going to do exactly what you and Dylan are saying not to do. They're going to put the jersey on him. They're going to put a helmet on him, and they're going to say, Antonio, listen, man, we just need you just to be here for 4 games at most.
Let's go get this ring.
Let's go get this ring. Shake your hand. Do whatever you want to do. Maybe we can visit this down the road. We probably won't, but at least you'll get a Super Bowl championship out of this, or you'll be able to at least show out
more of a story for whatever show he has.
Show out on the biggest stage in the planet. And if he does, then it actually works out for him anyway, because again, he's having a reality show. And listen, what is bigger than to act crazy on one of the biggest stages you have on television, which is
But Roz, that's why he's
I already told you you're right.
He can't be trusted.
I just wouldn't do it
because he has a reality show. You never know. He might decide, you know what? I'm gonna do something real big for my reality show and kick off the show and do something crazy. Like you can't put that out of the realm of possibility with him.
And what I'm going to still tell you is somebody still might sign
yourself in that situation. That's
and
the question me and Dylan
So y'all
that's the question me and Dylan. Why would you put yourself in that situation?
But
so you're going to throw away the generational talent.
Someone's still going to do that.
That some people are going to be willing to take.
And God bless him.
It's a risk that a lot of, because my thing is with Antonio Brown is that yes, he's far from perfect for some of the shit he's done off the field. Can't condone that, obviously.
You said domestic violence issue doesn't reflect.
That is not what I said.
Yes, it is.
That's not what I said. Hold on. My thing is personally, it's like you guys are leaning so heavy on this moral ethics stuff, and it's like, again, like I can say this for the 6th time. I don't need to like.
NFL doesn't care.
But at the same time, I do agree that yes, some of the stuff that he did, obviously the stuff he did recently, that is something I would address with him. And again, if I just need him for a few games, that's a risk I'm willing to take. All right?
NFL doesn't care about that.
I never said that this isn't a thing, because I fully understand that people don't give a fuck about the person. They care about the athlete, and I fully understand the situation scenario. I'm talking about me. If I'm running the organization, if I'm running the Jets, I care about who's representing my organization.
Now,
bro, you're 4-12, Dylan. 4-12.
Regardless of 4-12 or not, I care about what the opticals are of my organization. Right?
But Dylan, as a fellow Jets fan, this is hyperbole, right? If I told you that Antonio Brown was the last piece and that you would get us to a championship and win us a championship, would you take Antonio Brown on the team?
No.
Can
tell you flat out.
I can't.
I don't know why.
If I guarantee a championship for the New York Jets, who haven't been there since like 1965. I'm going to tell you 2
people.
Raz, let him talk. Let him talk.
Down before it was even a shot. There's 2 people who would shoot that down before it was even an option. It's Joe Douglas and it's Robert Saleh.
If they knew that would guarantee them the championship,
we're talking about just you. I'm talking about just you, Dylan. Forget everyone else. I'm talking about just you.
I care about the optics of my organization. And Antonio Brown does not give good optics for the organization, because now I have this guy who has domestic violence issues, who is breaking federal laws with having fake vaccination cards, who is unstable mentally. Granted, he should be getting taken care of, and the league should be on top of that, doing that for him, because he is still a current player. He does need to get that taken care of. Optically, as an organization, for this big green organization here, it doesn't look good.
But I give you another scenario. Let's say he's on the team and we're in the Super Bowl, and he catches a game-winning touchdown and we win the Super Bowl.
He's going to be idolized. Are you
celebrating
forever.
That Super Bowl? Are you celebrating that Super Bowl?
I am.
But without him catching that touchdown, even with all the stuff that he's done.
But if he was already on the team, I had nothing to do with it because I don't want him.
No, but I'm saying, do you celebrate his catch?
Do you celebrate?
Yeah, of course I celebrate.
But why?
Why?
Because at the end of the day, it's the Jets.
He caught the touchdown.
He shouldn't be on the team to begin with, but I will still celebrate. If he made it on the team by somehow, some way, with Woody, Chris, fucking everybody, organization top down, passing it off, I'd be like, well, what the fuck? I guess so.
And he wins Super Bowl MVP, and he catches the touchdown and wins the game.
There will be a statue outside of MetLife for him the next day.
You're gonna talk about the fact that
you're gonna help build that statue
MVP, You're gonna say he had an amazing catch. He won the championship.
I don't live in a world of hypotheticals.
No.
Exactly.
But I'm not saying that that's gonna happen. But I'm just trying to tell you, for that same reason that you're saying that you would be okay with it. That's why these owners are meeting up with their GMs.
I understand that.
And saying that, hey, can we get this guy in here just to be around us for 4 to 5 games?
I get it. I understand why they do that. I told you already. I don't think you're wrong.
The brain trust is saying
there are teams
that
are going to do that. I'm just saying if I'm running a team.
Wouldn't be me.
It wouldn't be me.
Listen, I wouldn't take him. I wouldn't take him on my team. Like if it was the Jets right now, but if the Jets were in the Super Bowl and you're like somebody went down with an injury and it's like Antonio Brown or anyone else.
Exactly. If you're telling Tennessee Super Bowl is tolerate Antonio Brown being on the team and catching a touchdown in the Super Bowl, then all right, fine. I will ignore him when I talk about the team.
It's never that easy.
All right, exactly.
Well, hypotheticals aside,
to be honest with you, Tennessee doesn't need him. We're the 1 seed. You don't.
No, I agree.
Whoa.
I mean, listen, the stuff speaks for itself.
Whoa.
Give it who you came here with.
Mike, I'm gonna hold you to that statement. I'm gonna hold you to that statement.
If Tennessee loses, it's not because they don't have Antonio Brown.
Exactly.
Yes, it would be.
It'll be because they don't have Henry.
Thank you for using some common sense, Dylan.
No.
It'll be because they don't.
If Tennessee loses, because they passed up on
if Tennessee loses in the playoffs, it's because we don't have Antonio Brown.
But I will say this: is that the Bucks won that Super Bowl because of Antonio Brown too,
it's because he's not on.
You don't think they would have won that Super Bowl without Antonio Brown, seeing how bad the Chiefs were playing?
I don't know. Antonio Brown scored that touchdown. It came at a pivotal time, by the way.
What was the score of that Super Bowl?
The way Tampa's defense played that day, I don't think it mattered.
Whoa. Stop. When Antonio Brown scored that touchdown, it was a pivotal touchdown. It wasn't a garbage time touchdown. It was
the dagger touchdown. They were already winning.
I mean, what's the whole point of calling it a dagger touchdown? That means you still the game.
At that point,
you still win that game if you take the touchdown away.
That means you still win the game.
Exactly, Dylan.
I mean, if you say you shot a dagger 3, that means that before that 3 was shot, there was a chance for the other team to win the game.
Yeah,
correct?
It definitely put it in a safe space.
It means you sealed the game.
If you could win that game without that touchdown, it's not that important.
But they couldn't. They had to do that. That was the
If you take 7 away, they still win that game.
They still win the game. You don't know that.
No. What we know is that he scored the touchdown, and that was the dagger touchdown. That's what we know.
You know what? You're right. I don't deal in hypotheticals. I have to go with what's actually available.
That factually happened in the course of the game. That was the deciding touchdown.
We don't.
No, I said he was part of. Listen, it's when I say because, I don't mean he is the de facto reason they won. I'm saying like because he scored that touchdown. That was the reason why they won the game. Like they won the game because that was a dagger touchdown. I
got one for you. Since Antonio Brown got cut from the Raiders, he's responsible for John Gruden getting released or him quitting.
No. I'm talking about direct cause and effect, not residual ripple effects. I'm talking about direct cause and effect. When he scored that touchdown, it put the game out of reach for the Chiefs. That's what I'm trying to say.
I'll have to go back and look at the timing and what possessions were like after that to confirm.
That's fine. I mean, listen, like that's fine. Like I'm just trying to say, like again, right? I can't take from Antonio Brown's talent because I don't.
Never
like
will.
the man,
I never
whatever,
will.
Listen,
right?
Going to.
And because of that, some teams are going to say, "Yo, listen."
And you were right.
This guy is going to be here for X amount of games. All we need to do is just insulate him and make sure he just comes on the field and executes.
It just won't be me.
For league minimum.
It won't be me.
Just put security in the end zone so he doesn't run around.
I speak in hypotheticals because I say that's how sometimes I keep myself honest, right? If I was as a Jets fan, if we were heading into the Super Bowl and we needed a dynamic talent like Antonio Brown at wide receiver, and you ask me, could I pick him up at this point with COVID and injuries? I can't tell you there's a better talent on the waiver wire at league minimum than Antonio Brown. And all I have to say is, guys, can we just keep this guy on the field for 4 games? I don't care if we have to have 24-hour security. We can afford it. I don't care if we have to have a 24-hour shrink. We can certainly afford it. I don't care if we need to make his meals and make sure he's not sipping something. We can afford it. All those things we can afford it.
Let's make sure he's not throwing gummy penises at his baby mother.
If I need to have a handler on the sideline, because they certainly do that too. They have handlers on the sideline for certain players. contrary to what people may believe, they have handlers who are just there to make sure this guy doesn't fly off and do crazy things. I will definitely have the best handler money can buy, and I will say 4 games, Antonio, we have this in structure for you. Go out, do your thing, and by the way, if you help us win a Super Bowl, we might even let you use some footage for your reality show.
And because of the type of person that we all believe him to be, and because of the type of person we all believe him to be, he would probably welcome that because of the type of person he is.
Oh yeah. This is the same
because he's an egotistical maniac. He will welcome that.
Like we can't be virtual signaling about the NFL. As much as I love the NFL, the NFL has the history of the NFL does not
bunk the NFL.
The history of NFL does not give any credence to the idea of us thinking that they're just upstanding citizens at any level inside of the NFL teams, because
sure
they have.
At the end of the day, y'all can look.
Let's make it happen. Antonio Brown.
Anthony was burned by this man. He's like, "Yeah, bring him back."
I'm not gonna sit here and talk about hypotheticals. I'm just gonna keep it straight up situation. I would give him a chance. I would take him back because I see the talent. I'm crazy just like him anyway. So we would probably mesh. So it's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm taking a flyer on him. All right, I am.
Who it is. We'll figure out who it is. We'll figure out who it is.
We're gonna have to move this train along because we literally made this a football episode, and we still have one more pro football topic and a college football topic. So let's just move along real quick.
It's Dylan's fault.
To make you feel better, Mike, to make everybody feel better, people have done entire segments just on this one thing, so it's okay.
Yeah. Shout out to Anthony for even though he was burned by Antonio Brown, he still is like, let's bring him in.
Hey! I believe in forgiveness, man. I believe in
integrity.
All right.
And to be fair, Roz, I actually have one more Antonio Brown question that I really am curious about the answer.
Mm-hmm.
But
we'll make it quick. We can make it quick.
Yeah,
we'll make it quick.
Do you think that this has cost Antonio Brown the Hall of Fame?
No.
I think he was already out. I didn't think he has a Hall of Fame career.
No.
There's no way they were going to put him in. There was no way they were going to put him in. He deserves to be in. He deserves to be in, but they won't let him in.
Oh my God! What is wrong with you?
I think he gets in for the same reason why T.O. gets in.
T.O. should have been in first ballot.
T.O. should have been first ballot. That was disrespectful what they did to T.O.
I mean, Ben Roethlisberger raped somebody, man.
Whoa!
He won't go in first ballot.
Whoa!
Ben Roethlisberger is going in first ballot as a Hall of Famer in the NFL, and you can mark.
No,
down.
you're right. You're right. But AB
is going into the Hall of Fame.
They won't put him in.
They would. I guarantee AB's going to be.
They may treat him like Chris Carter, and he has to wait like 15 years to get in.
I guarantee you guys, Antonio Brown is going into the Hall of Fame.
He's going into the Hall of Fame.
Well, I think he's
a Hall of Fame talent. I definitely think he's a Hall of Fame talent.
He's going to the Hall of Fame with his 2 Super Bowls and his stats.
Antonio Brown. Writers hold a grudge, man. These writers are the moral compass of the world.
Then why isn't Chad in?
Well, Antonio Brown has better stats than Chad.
Chad has Hall of Fame numbers. Chad should be in.
All right, but
and if Chad's not in, AB won't be in.
No, but Chad has no bearing on AB because AB has 2 Super Bowls and he has better stats than
he
Chad.
had the 10,000 yard mark. He had all he needed for catches and tutters, and he's still not in. The only reason he's not in is because of how he carried himself on the field.
But Antonio Brown has 2 Super Bowls and a game-winning Super Bowl catch.
Edelman has 5 Super Bowls, and he's not going to get into the Hall of Fame. And he has the most playoff yards and catches ever.
Actually, Dylan, I wouldn't.
Edelman is not a Hall.
He's not a Hall of Famer.
Y'all are not doing this to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in.
I will also go on and let me tell you that Julian Edelman is also going into the Hall of Fame.
He's going to get that cosign from Tom Brady.
Hall of Fame too.
He's going to get that cosign.
As much as I'm a Jets fan, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Fame.
He's not a Hall of Famer to me.
He's going into the Hall of Fame.
Is he going to
Julian
get in?
Edelman?
I think he's a good chance.
Is going into the Hall of Fame.
I think there's a damn good chance.
Antonio Brown is also going.
All I'm saying is if Edelman and Antonio Brown are both going to the Hall of Fame, I do think Antonio Brown deserves to go in. Let me make that very clear. He deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. If Edelman's in there, Edelman's going in before AB.
But you know, the deciding factor that always puts anybody over the top, and specifically talking to NFL, is championships.
But they also care about the locker room shit too.
But not so. But I understand. But not so much more than the championships, though.
Yeah, I think if Terrell Owens ever got one, it wouldn't be a conversation.
It wouldn't even be a conversation. It wouldn't even be a conversation.
They still would have waited.
There's a lot of people that think like Skip Bayless.
Marvin Harrison killed a man and he got in. And
why?
T.O. did.
Why though? Why?
Because T.O. was an asshole.
No, because Marvin Harrison has a championship with the Indianapolis Colts.
T.O. is the second greatest wide receiver
Marvin Harrison also has the Peyton Manning cosign. Like Edelman will have a Tom Brady cosign.
Oh yeah. But listen.
The football
listen. Guys, listen to me when I tell you this. Antonio Brown is going into the Hall of Fame.
He should.
Julian Edelman is going into the Hall of Fame.
He shouldn't.
Whatever they did to Chad Ochocinco and Terrell Owens, I don't agree with. I think
Chad needs to be in.
There. But
and if Chad doesn't get in before AB, that's a problem.
I am telling you right now, on record, and you can rewind as many times. And Antonio Brown's going to the Hall of Fame.
Hines Ward's still not in.
I don't care if Antonio Brown did backflips and was streaking on the field naked. And Antonio, that's probably the only thing that he violated the shield with the young kids and stuff. That's the only other thing. But throwing his shoulder pad,
domestic violence,
right? I mean, like I said, Ben Roethlisberger is
we'll
going to the
cross
Hall
that
of
bridge
Fame.
when we get there.
Right? No,
we'll see. I know he will, but we'll see how much they actually value it when they start actually having those conversations.
And I'm telling you that they won't. It'll be hindsight, fresh eyes. Antonio Brown will be gone from the game, and they'll say to themselves, "Dang, this guy."
The thing that happened to Ben,
stats.
The thing that happened to Ben is that they'll put him in the Hall of Fame, and then they'll try to request to get him taken out of. That's what happened to him.
That's the only way they're going to do that. He'll get in though.
Yeah.
He'll wear the gold jacket. You'll see a bust of Antonio Brown.
He deserves it. Like I said, he deserves it.
AB.
And he'll say booming right on it.
And he'll be like, he'll give a speech and be like, man, like he'll probably laugh about it. I've done some. Needless to say, guys, I've had an interesting career. And everybody be like,
I hope his bust is blonde mustache, AB, too. With the one blue dread. I hope that.
Mike, is Antonio Brown going into the Hall of Fame?
Is he going? I don't know. He probably will. But I don't know.
He definitely deserves it.
These writers are more spiteful than you guys would think.
No, but not so. I mean, we're not talking about the baseball, like the baseball Hall of Fame. If he was playing baseball, I mean, he wouldn't sniff the Hall of Fame.
Never.
Like those guys are like.
They wouldn't let him get eligible.
They wouldn't even let him. He'd be sitting there being like, I don't know what I have to do to get in. Like he was talking about like that. But NFL is good. If he was in the NBA, he would have been in the Hall of Fame.
He would have been in already. He's still playing. Yeah.
Like, the NFL is the second hardest one to get into out of the big three. All
right, let's move on real quick. Let's
Real quick.
The graphic up, and the graphic will speak to it for itself. How y'all feeling about this?
Red Hogs, go Red Hogs. Red Hogs is my Red Hogs.
Are you saying pick. Hogs?
Red Hogs is the pick. Out of all the names that's there, I think the Red Hogs is the pick.
I like the Red Wolves.
I like the Red Wolves. The
Red Wolves just don't go. I don't think it flows.
Can't be the Red Wolves. For copyright, the Red Wolves is out.
I was saying to Mike that if they go with Red Hawks or Red Wolves, what is the point? Because I think that somebody might find it offensive.
No, not the Red Hogs.
What about the Commanders?
The Commanders is another one that can.
Just leave the football team. Just leave the football team.
The Washington football team. I thought it was stupid.
I think that's what they're gonna do.
Grown on me.
Nah. Listen. It hasn't grown on anybody. The only reason why it's like that is because again you've heard it for 2-3 seasons. it's still generic as hell.
I've only called them the Redskins one time, and it was on this podcast. They are the football team.
Like 30 minutes
ago. I will
ago.
refuse to call them anything else other than football team going forward. I'm going to be like those old white guys who are mad about the name change. They're the Redskins. They'll always be the Redskins. Nope, football team. They'll always be football team to me.
The Red Hogs, I think, has at least some history with the fan base, and they want to pretty much have the fan base embrace them. I feel like the Commanders is a little kind of cheesy and weird. It sounds like an XFL team almost, but I think the Red Hogs. I think with the history of
terrible.
The history with the fan base and them wearing like the little like snouts and everything when John Riggins and all those guys were there, and John and Joe Gibbs. I think the Red Hogs for me. I think that's what they go with.
I really would have liked to see them go with like the Red Tails. Remember when that was like first one of the names they're talking about to give tribute to the Tuskegee Air Fighters? That would have been awesome. That would have been cool, and everybody would have embraced that. But just keep it fucking football team because all these names suck.
Everybody would have embraced it, and that's why it's gone.
I know. Some people they much rather call the Redskins.
Exactly.
That's actually racist.
What else you got, Mike?
So, we got a championship game on Monday, fellas.
Oh boy,
the SEC championship game.
Oh boy,
the SEC championship part 2, aka the national championship,
aka
Georgia Bulldogs versus
the Alabama Invitational.
Alabama. Nick Saban going for number 7. I don't know about y'all, but I just can't root for Nick Saban. I just can't. Nothing in me makes me root for them. I hope he loses every game. But
I like Kirby Smart. I like Kirby Smart, so I would like to see Georgia win, but I know it's not happening.
I, like you, Dylan, have a funny feeling Alabama's going to beat them again.
Bryce Young's really good, man.
Georgia just chokes every time, although there seems to be a little mojo going on in Atlanta right now. They finally broke through. They got the World Series title, so maybe
they get a natty
down there.
Maybe I would love to see Atlanta, or I'd love to see Georgia come out on top and beat Alabama, the big bad Alabama, to get their shit. But Alabama's just too good. They have great quarterback play for the fourth straight year, which they really haven't had in a long time. Their defense is still an NFL level defense at all fronts of it, but here we are. Alabama's back. They're going against Georgia. They're going to end up spanking that ass. All of this national championship shows is that the SEC is just so much farther ahead of everybody else. It's not even close. Not even close. We saw it with last year's natty against Ohio State, where Alabama was just throwing it all over the place.
They ran Ohio State off the
field. The only team that ever stood a chance was Trevor Lawrence's Clemson teams. And then Clemson stinks now. Michigan is a joke.
Because Trevor Lawrence is gone.
Michigan's a fraud. Fraud. They beat Ohio State, and that was the biggest thing. Michigan,
they won their Super Bowl when they beat Ohio State. That was
exactly, but that was also the first time Harbaugh has ever won anything over there, and he may be the coach of the Raiders next year. So he might be. He said he'd be interested.
I don't want him.
But
I respect him, but I don't.
Michigan doesn't belong, and Cincinnati's a better team than Michigan is.
Cincinnati played Alabama tough for about a half.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is you got to play perfect.
They're a well-coached football team, and that's something I'll give Cincinnati. They're a very well-coached football team with some NFL talent on there. You'll see their big white boy receiver get drafted, which is cool. But they hung around for a little bit until Alabama started Alabamaing and just being really good in the red zone on defense.
They couldn't keep their quarterback up. The defensive line just overwhelmed Cincinnati's offensive line. Just overwhelmed them. And Cincinnati just never had a chance.
And Georgia, they may have beat the brakes off of Michigan.
Georgia can win this game.
But Kirby Smart better have a pretty good passing game plan if he wants to win. And Kirby Smart never has a good passing game plan in any of his games. So we will see.
just for me, honestly, I as an FSU fan, this doesn't,
Ew.
like have nothing to do with me. I really don't care.
Super ill.
But as a Jets fan, this is one of the hugest games for me to kind of really dive deeper into looking at these guys at the biggest stage. I mean, guys that I think we should target. You're talking about Jameson Williams, Nakobe Dean, beast, and just completely just ran
future Jet,
Nakobe Dean. Like I said, Jameson Williams, Nakobe Dean. We have Evan Neal. Evan Neal is another guy I think the Jets should target there. You also have freaking Christian Harris. He's another guy, the linebacker that we could target there as well too. I mean, like the safety. I mean, we can look at like Jordan Battle and see maybe second or third round. We'll see how that goes. But there are a few guys here. I mean, Jordan Davis is going to be a monster, but no more D tackles.
This game is going to help predict who's going to be these first 10 picks in the top 10. There's a few guys in this game that are going to be going.
There's a few guys that I would love to see in green and white here, and Dylan named a few of them, and I named some of them as well too. I'm going to be looking. I'm actually going to see if I can get my hand on some like all 22. Maybe I get a chance to look at.
I may help you. I may be able to help you
if you can. Because I really want to take a look at Neal. I really want to take a look at Williams. I really want to
another one of my Jet
Harris.
fan buddies does all 22 stuff and loves draft coverage. So when it comes to draft time, we can have a complete like football nerd out episode, which is hilarious.
Yeah,
I look forward to
wait for it.
Once y'all start that Jet stuff, we're just gonna move it along.
Oh man!
Thank you, Mike.
Man.
Thank you so much.
NBA talk.
Yes.
Best player in the world, Steph Curry.
Kevin Durant.
Steph Curry.
Kevin Durant.
Steph Curry.
Kevin Durant.
The Warriors, just continue being unbelievable this year. Steph for MVP. I'm going to let James go here because we wanted to call out Dylan for his great prediction that he had that did not come true. Hashtag Kai for Christmas.
It did come.
Kai by Christmas.
I was told Kyrie Irving will be playing this year, and he is eligible to play, and that happened before Christmas.
He's playing. He's
playing Wednesday.
Oh man, this week is going to be
Wednesday's not Christmas.
Boy.
Yeah, but I was told he is eligible to play before Christmas.
Clay and Kyrie. Oh, I'm happy. I have these.
Clay coming back Monday is awesome.
Yeah, he's like I have this recorded. I'm gonna record these games, and I can't wait to watch them. Like I said in one of our earlier episodes, these guys on the court makes the NBA so much fun, so much better. It just adds a whole nother wrinkle into this season, and thank God that we have these guys back, and playing the sport that they love and giving us like the game that getting us to witness like some of the greatest basketball that we get a chance to see. Like, I mean, a lot of the stars are playing out of their mind right now. I just, like, I can't think of like the sustained amount of just like crazy basketball players from the highest, best superstars in the league right now that's happening. Ja's going crazy, LeBron's going crazy, Trey's going crazy, Durant's going crazy, Steph's going crazy, Giannis is going crazy, Joker's getting like basically Embiid is going crazy. Like these guys are DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. These guys are showing out, and then you want to add Clay and Kyrie to this. Can't forget James Harden. He's always going to be doing his things.
Don't forget RJ Barrett. He had 32 points today against the Pacers.
RJ Barrett had 32 points today. Like I said, superstars, but sure, why not? RJ Barrett had 32 points today. Like, yeah, I mean, like, this is Bradley Beal's coming on crazy. Jimmy Butler's coming on crazy as of late as well too.
I think he just got injured. Actually,
he just got injured too. Yeah, I mean, like, sad to say that, but
I hope it's not too crazy. I hope it's not too severe.
Luka's back. Almost putting up triple. I think he did maybe, or he almost put up a triple double. So I mean, like, guys, man, like, let's enjoy this.
So let me Dylan, let me ask you a question. How do you feel about the fact that the Bulls have now moved into the 1 seed over there?
They deserve
wow,
how does that make you feel?
I feel
How does that
fine.
make? No. I didn't ask you that question. I said, how does it make you feel?
I just said I feel fine.
You feel? Why do you feel fine?
I feel fine. Like the Nets haven't deserved to win the last 3 games that we played in. Yeah. It's one of those things where this happened a lot last year and the year before, where there's a stretch of games where Steve Nash kind of gets lost in rotations and the guys don't play defense and they play defense and it's undisciplined basketball. And that's the most infuriating thing when you have all this talent and you're one of 2 teams who didn't lose back-to-back games all season. And then you go and you lose 3 straight on games you shouldn't have lost because you weren't playing tough. That sucks, but like it is what it is. I'm not mad at it. The best part about it is we get Kyrie Irving back. So now this is, again, out of 2 seasons that I've had with this group, or a season and a half I've had with this group, this I think is only game 12 that I get to see them play. And this is actually the healthiest our team has been all year, too. And then in 2 weeks, we get Joe Harris back. So now we have better floor spacing. So I don't hold 3 losses in a row to the same standard that you are holding it to currently, because apparently 3 losses in a row is a big deal for a team that was just in first place and is now in second place. Big deal.
I wasn't saying all that. I was just
you're sitting here with this big shit-eating grin on your face.
I was just saying, how
you're expecting me. You're expecting me to be like.
I wasn't talking about. I wasn't asking all that, Dylan. I was just asking how that made you feel. That's
you
all
could
I
be the
said.
Lakers.
Exactly. You could be the Lakers.
A fan of any of the other teams that are rooted for on this podcast.
The Lakers
bring me. See, the thing is, Dylan, I hate the fact that I knew you for as long as I have, because you are actually a Nets fan. Like, it's like I want.
Call me a bandwagon if you want to.
I wish I had the privilege of saying you're just a front runner or bandwagon, but unfortunately, yes, I knew you a long time when the Nets were awful, and yes, you have always been a Nets.
Go find another a Nets fan that was rooting for Jordan Farmar and Travis Outlaw, Johan Petro, Chris Humphreys, Keon Dooling, Chris Quinn.
Find me another Lakers fan who literally was just going through the entire time with Kwame Brown, Smush Parker on the team and still rooting again and having to deal with all that. I understand how you feel, Dylan, because I've been a Lakers fan forever, and everyone is like, "No way, you're a Lakers fan." And I'm like, I've always been a Lakers fan.
Yeah, but I mean, the Lakers have won titles recently.
Exactly, you guys are a team.
Yeah, y'all not as bad though. Like, because again,
did we play the Nets in a championship?
Yeah, y'all destroyed them.
I mean, the Nets actually were a pretty decent team in the East for a long time.
That was like Kenya Martin, Kidd, and Carter.
Fun fact: the Nets in the last 20 years have been better than the Knicks in the last 20 years.
That is true. That's an easy stat.
The
Knicks are awful.
I know you couldn't wait to say that.
The Knicks are terrible. You know how I feel about that. You know, and I'm going to say, because we're still close from reading the other segment, the Knicks are the Jets.
Okay, I would have called it.
And that's fine.
I would have
called future MVP Denzel Valentine.
I wouldn't call 18.
They already waived him, Dylan. He's not on
I can't believe it. That was so good for you guys. Denzel Valentine was going to be great.
Hey, we're 2 games.
Are the Jets of the NBA?
We're 2 games out of a playoff spot. How are we terrible?
The Knicks
2 games out of 4th place
of the NBA.
Like, we're acting like that they're 4-12.
Yeah, like what the heck?
The Knicks historically have been like the Jets of the NBA.
Oh my god!
I stick by my things, and I provided stats as well too. I have done that. We will not revisit this, too,
but I'm not gonna revisit it.
We're not gonna revisit this. We have done this. And like I mentioned, right? I think the Knicks, just like I think the Jets, if they were to be in the playoffs, both teams, both sports, only benefit from that. And I hope the Knicks go to the playoffs. I hope they're competitive.
I'm not taking an underhand.
Still think the Knicks are going to be. No, you don't have. It's not an underhand comment because I'm about to give you your medicine right now. Still think the Knicks aren't going to win anything in the playoffs. I think they're going to possibly get bounced in the first round. They don't beat the Bulls. They don't beat Milwaukee. They don't beat the Nets. And I think one of those teams is going to get the Knicks in the first round because they're going to barely make the playoffs. And then I'm just going to say, well, Now you have R.J. Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Derrick Rose, Julius Randle, and everyone's a year older. Everyone's contract is a year worse. Evan Fournier is terrible. Where do you go from here? And everybody's going to say, wow, we need a second scorer. We need another superstar. And I'm going to say, you guys turned down Derek. You guys turned down what? Damian Lillard. You guys turned down Bradley Beal, who, by the way, is vaccinated now.
Now, I broke that news to everybody.
Now,
league inside source, Dylan Barretto.
That would have vaccinated Bradley Beal because the argument was
by Christmas.
He's not vaccinated. Why do we want to go through the same thing? Bradley Beal's on the table, but is he worth Emmanuel Quickly, Obi? I'm going to do a dunk contest dunk every 5 games, every time I get in the game for only 8 minutes, Toppin, or we're going to go ahead and give Derrick Rose and possibly RJ Barrett at his highest peak. You won't be able to trade RJ Barrett for any more than he is right now. He's dropped 32 points. Are you going to trade him for someone like Bradley Beal?
Disgusted.
Are you going to trade him for someone like Damian Lillard? I'm just telling you guys, they will completely transform that team.
I have a question.
And saying
Anthony,
anything less is crazy.
Anthony, can you repeat to me what you said about the Knicks at Target?
I don't remember.
Anthony said, I asked him about his collision course with the Warriors and the Knicks, and he said,
I forgot about that.
He said, yeah, next year.
Yeah, I said next year.
Whoa.
He said next year.
Whoa.
Do we not all remember him saying that the Knicks and the Warriors were on a collision course for the NBA Finals?
I don't remember.
We were all here, correct? We were all here.
I don't remember saying that for this year.
He gave up. He no longer roots for the Knicks, guys. So maybe I can end up.
I don't know if my memory's fog. I can't recall.
It's the same. It's the same team, right? Aren't you saying that this same team is going to ride into the championship against the Warriors? You guys really believe that?
I didn't say that for this year.
Anthony does not speak for all Knicks fans. Like I tried to do.
But I said you guys. But I said you guys just now. I said, do you guys believe, as the team is currently constructed, that they will go to the championship?
Y'all are the Knicks hive mind.
No. James says no. Do you think so, Mike?
No.
Is how you think.
So what I'm asking you is
that's not true.
So
that's not true.
Yes,
do you think adding Damian Lillard onto this team gets you closer to a championship or farther away or the same?
It depends if we have to give them 6 players.
No. Toppin, Quickly, Barrett.
Well, you got to give up Randall contractually.
Well, you could probably throw in Fournier for the contract, maybe, or Kimba. Oh my God, you could throw in Kimba for the contract too. Make some things match.
It would have to be Kemba, Fournier,
I don't know how much
RJ.
you think Kimba makes, but he does not.
No. No, but the Portland Trailblazers are trying to throw in Nurkic as well too in a bad contract. That's what the rumors are.
If you're telling me that the Knicks are going to get Nurkic and Dame Lillard for Obi, RJ, and Quickly, I'll send them.
And
Mike,
Fournier is a bonus.
Mike, you're also not a fan of giving up mad first round picks.
Nurkic, Randall.
What if you added picks to that?
Lillard.
What if they said you added picks to that? Would you still do it?
I'm sending them. How many picks? I'm not giving them
5.
Like Brooklyn. No, I'm not doing that stupid shit.
That's not a lot, and it can't be back to back.
5 picks.
5 picks?
Name me 5 draft picks you guys have.
Swaps. They do pick swaps as a stepping rule. They can't do.
It would be every other year.
It'd be pick swaps too.
See, this guy gets it.
You know how I feel.
So you'd be trading potential 16, 15, 14, 13, and 12-year-olds.
And by the way, you'd be picking in probably the 20s or 30s. And by the way, James would call me up and be like, "Hey, Roz, I'm having a hard time. I got Toppin on my back. Do you mind helping me out? Can you carry RJ? Can you carry RJ over
draft
to Portland?"
picks in the NBA, especially late rounds,
the only reason I would not do that with that many picks for them is because Nurkic has injury history. So
Nurkic's expiring contract.
You would be in euphoria.
So I would have to know that I'm re-signing him then.
Anthony, look at me.
I would have to
just
know.
take him on for the year. That's all it is.
Then why would I give 5 picks away?
Because you get Dame.
Because you get Dame, and then it opens up salary cap for others.
You would be euphoric.
In order to get a superstar, you have to give up.
What you're telling me is I'm going to give up RJ, Toppin, quickly. 5 draft picks.
Correct.
For Dame Lillard. Straight up.
That alone.
No, Yusuf Nurkic. That
you
can't
get
happen.
Nurkic for the year.
No, you're telling me I'm going to lose him after the year's over.
No, so you could do whatever you want with him.
You can resign him.
You have an expiring contract. That's all that's leaving.
If I know I'm going to resign him, then I would.
That's your choice.
No, but even if you don't resign him, who cares?
Make at the end of the season.
You still free up cap space for another person to join Jules and Damian Lillard.
You can decide if you want to keep him or not, or pick somebody else.
That Nurkic is making is off your books, and you can re-sign him at a better contract if you would like.
I know
in order to get a superstar, you have to give up.
But 5 draft picks?
Who cares?
Go look at every superstar that was traded for and tell me what they were giving up.
You know what Mike wants to do? Mike wants to
be Danny Ainge.
Pennies on the dollar.
He wants Danny
pennies
Ainge.
on the dollar, right?
I want Anthony Davis.
So you're telling me
2 second-round picks.
And Derrick Rose and Evan
draft
Fournier.
Hell that Brooklyn was in because they traded 15 draft picks.
Do you want to know why we're in draft hell?
You would do it again?
Want to know why we were in draft hell?
They did it again for James Harden.
We were in draft hell before they had the back-to-back pick rule.
They did that.
And we are the reason why you can't give away back-to-back picks. I would also never do that trade to begin with for an aging Paul Pierce, an aging Kevin Garnett, an aging Jason Terry. Though that was an awful trade.
I still can't believe they did that stupid shit.
Like
still to this day
that trade set us back years. The James Harden trade doesn't put us that back because you know how long we had Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, and Jason Terry? A season and a half. So we traded all that for a season and a half. That's why I would never do that trade. The James Harden trade, I will do that James Harden trade every day of the week for the rest of my life.
Here's the funny part about the situation with the Knicks is that
gotta get a ring.
Everyone
Jared Allen looks amazing.
If there's a way for me to get Jared Allen
right
you
now,
gotta pay the price. You think I don't look at Brandon Ingram and say to myself, damn, I wish I had BI on the team? You don't think I don't say to Josh Hart, man, we could love to have Josh Hart's defense and him being one of the best rebounding guards in the league? You don't think I look at Lonzo and say, hey, I'd rather have Lonzo right now than the ghost of Rajon Rondo if they had more time? But the thing is that the timing was, in order for us to get Anthony Davis, we had to give those guys right when we had to give them. And guess what? I got a ring and I would trade them 1,000,000 times again. If we have a draft simulator, I do it 1,000,000 times over and
the Knicks
over.
Do all of that, right? And they get Dame Lillard and Nurkic, and it turns out to be a ring.
No one cares. Ever.
No one
cares.
Blows up.
Of everything.
Blows up.
No
in the history of sports.
No one ever will care. Ever. I don't care. Every single one of those draft picks Hall of Famers.
That shit bothers me.
We're literally having the same argument we were just having with
NBA.
Antonio
if you're not
Brown.
A top 3,
but we're talking 5. We're talking 5.
And if you just got Damian Lillard, your draft picks are now high 20s. So who cares?
So here's the thing.
You miss on more draft picks in the NBA than you hit on. If
my favorite.
No luck with the draft picks besides KP, and then
there's 2 rounds in an NBA draft. No. That means there are 60 picks. Out of 60 picks, maybe 10 hit.
Maybe 10.
Maybe 10. So tell me again, why would I want these 16, 15, 14, 13, and 12-year-old future kids of something when I can go get a random NBA vet for a year who's going to make significantly less money than a first-round NBA draft pick is going to make because he's going to be on a league minimum, who also knows how to play in the fucking NBA. So tell me again, unless there's a transcendent talent in that 1 through 5 slot that you could guarantee me is the next LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, fucking name it. Why do I want him? If you can't guarantee me that, when I could trade 5 of those potential, if maybe busts, hits, misses, for a for sure thing. I will trade an NBA pick every day of my life.
If the Knicks are in at least the top 5 seeding by the time the trade deadline comes up and they sit on their hands and don't get one of those guys, the Knicks and the Knicks fans deserve everything that they will get, which is mediocrity, losing in the first round, and keeping those guys and watching them just be worse than they were when they had a chance to say they deserve that. You guys will deserve that because you guys will be a top 5 seed and getting a chance. Listen, you're a top 5 seed. Look who's in front of you. Look who's in front of you. Milwaukee, the Nets, right? The Hawks. John Collins is only getting better. Capella's only going to just keep clogging up the paint and give y'all fits like he did last time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you guys will be a top 4 seed, and you guys are going to sit there and say, this is what we're going to roll with Evan Fournier playing your starting 3 guard. Are you guys kidding me right now?
Tonight he played 2 minutes and didn't score.
Like, guys, listen. Like, I understand. We want to build it from the ground up. We want to make sure we get everything with the worst. We want to trade with our worst players to get the best players, but that's not how it works. You got to pay to play.
The only thing draft picks are worthy for are used to trade bait. That's literally it. You draft a bunch of guys to then trade them for a superstar.
And let me go back to the Knicks, right? Like, to stay on topic, what in the history of the trading that you've done gives you any type of confidence that they will be able to just identify and draft these Hall of Fame players right now? In the last 10 years, what have you done?
In the last 20.
What have you drafted? And to make matters worse, everyone's complaining about the Carmelo Anthony trade. Name a time before that you guys were actually very much galvanized and proud to be Knicks fans. The Knicks were the center of the basketball universe when Carmelo Anthony himself hit those game-tying threes and walked off in Madison Square Garden, right? You guys remember that? Like, that was Carmelo Anthony, what you got with the Carmelo Anthony trade. What did those draft picks turn into? Do you remember the draft picks that you gave up for Carmelo Anthony? What did they turn into? If everybody's talking about the Carmelo Anthony, if everyone's saying about how bad Carmelo Anthony's trade is, and we gave up so many draft picks, what did those draft picks turn into?
I didn't think that was bad, by the way. I never said
they gave up a lot of players.
They gave up a lot of players.
They gave up a lot of players, though.
Yeah, but what did they do?
That's fair.
What, JR went to the Cavs?
No.
Like, JR went to the Cavs and rode
Nuggets.
LeBron's coattails to a championship? So J.R. Smith?
Raymond Felton, it was never anything after that.
David Lee went to, like, the Warriors and was, like, a rotational player. Like, what did you give up?
Wilson Chandler.
Wilson Chandler? Like, what?
Always hurt.
What?
Yeah.
Like, you guys should be looking at that trade and saying, you came out like bandits. Those are probably one of Carmelo's best stretches of his entire career was on the Knicks. You got a Hall of Fame player playing in arguably his prime for all the guys and draft picks that I just mentioned, and you guys are saying that that's bad. Why? So you had the opportunity to draft, but what makes you guys think from the history and also the same management that you ended up firing and demonizing now as Knicks fans, what makes you think if those guys had those draft picks in their hands that you guys would be able to identify and choose Hall of Fame players?
And then we could go back to that Nets trade really quick. We forever didn't have draft picks, but all the guys we drafted in those stretches, the Karis LeVerts, the Jared Allens, we're trading for James Harden. So, like, you end up still drafting guys later in the round. You just got to build them up and then trade them or get rid of them before they are. But the problem is, if you're an organization like the Thunder, you have all these draft picks and you do literally nothing with them while you're getting your backs blown out by 70. So what do these draft picks do? Nothing.
That kid Giddey is nice, though.
Kitty's nice.
He's nasty. But here's the thing. I think that the Knicks are in a very good place because even though the Knicks fans want to hoard the draft picks and make sure all the young guys grow up,
draft picks.
I think the Knicks management are salivating at the opportunity right now. And I think they're going to be so active when the trade deadline comes if the Knicks are even remotely in striking distance of a playoff spot.
If I'm James, I'm hoping RJ Barrett has more 30-point games.
Metal.
So he can
Nothing is getting the Knicks management more excited than watching RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley drop 30 points because they're saying to themselves, can we win with these guys? Right?
Stop.
Can we win with these guys?
In a perfect world, I want us to win with what we got.
Y'all became attached to that group from last year.
Because my thing is watching Giannis, watching Giannis not jump ship and stay with a team and win with Milwaukee. It was a beautiful sight to see how they went through all those tough teams in the playoffs, including the Nets and whatnot, and then they eventually got to the finals.
Why do you
and then they took care of the Suns, and it was just beautiful to see Giannis, do it by himself. Well, not do it by himself, but do it by himself. I took that back. Do it with the people that he played ball with his entire career, and not.
He only had one other person on his team that he's played with his whole career.
Yeah, I'm about to say that.
Only one other person. Everybody else was on a different team. Anthony.
Chris Middleton was a Laker, right?
Chris Middleton is the only player that Giannis played with his whole career.
No, Chris Middleton was a Laker at some point.
But Giannis and Middleton have played together their whole careers. Middleton got traded, I think, on draft night.
Like, no, wait. I thought Chris Middleton
he played for the Rockets, I thought.
Well, either way, Giannis has played with Middleton.
Played for another team.
I thought I'm bugging.
He's the only one.
Confused.
Did he play with Drew Holiday his whole career?
Wait, I thought no.
Did
Drew
he play
came
with Brook
from
Lopez
the Pelicans.
his whole career?
Yeah, I think
because last time I checked, Brook Lopez is the all-time leading franchise scorer of the Brooklyn Nets. So no, he didn't play with him his whole career. Did he play with PJ Tucker his whole career?
Well, what I'm trying to say
is he played with Bobby Portis his whole career. Did he play with Dante DiVincenzo his whole career? Did he play with?
He didn't jump ship.
That's right.
DiVincenzo was only 2 years in.
He did not jump ship when he.
Middleton was on the Pistons.
Yeah, we're all wrong. He was on the Pistons.
Pistons.
That's the team.
And then got traded over.
Me and James are wrong. He was on the Pistons. I think I get him confused with there's another guy who ended up being decent that was from the Lakers too, but whatever.
So again, tell me who on that team he's played with his whole career. And secondly, tell me a player who's just as good as Giannis Antetokounmpo is on the Knicks right now.
Well, there's no one on the Knicks, obviously, I'm going to be honest.
All of those guys that are on the Bucks were acquired by trade, except for Dante, who was drafted, and Pat Connaughton.
And Giannis was a huge gamble. Like RJ Barrett.
I just want to point out that the draft pick that the Nuggets got in the Carmelo Anthony trade turned out to be Jamal Murray. But that.
No. How's he doing?
No. See, and that's why I said that. I said,
how's Jamal
what
doing?
makes you think?
He's cornerstone. He's the second best player on the team.
No.
Is he playing?
Now I'm gonna jump back in because I said
he said, "Is he playing?"
I said
we're gonna play this game because he got hurt last year.
No. Come on. I said specifically when they traded that pick. If you were to give that pick in the hands of the same management,
they were getting Jamal Murray.
Do you think they were picking Jamal Murray? You believe they would have identified and picked Jamal Murray?
They didn't know who Jamal Murray was because Jamal Murray was some 14, 15-year-old kid. They didn't know what they were getting.
They have scouts. They listen, they can say to themselves, hey, listen, like, we can't give this up because we have these kids coming in the pipeline. Because I think you only think the scouts only deal with the players that are happening to come out that year. The scouting goes back at least 4 or 5 years. They're watching these kids come up from AAU ball, right? So what I'm trying to say is like they can identify up and coming.
So the Nuggets knew that they were going to get Jamal Murray in that exact draft pick that they traded for.
No. But what they say to them, But what they say to themselves is that we have a pipeline of these kids coming into the league who are going to be good that we identify with. So we're going to hedge our bets on the future versus what's coming out right now. That means Carmelo Anthony is worth less for us right now than what we would possibly get in the future. Like I said, they're watching these kids since they're in AAU ball now. It's even earlier than that.
Mike, are you telling me you'd rather have Jamal Murray now?
Why can't I think that way?
But Mike, what? But listen. What makes you think the current regime in
Dylan,
play?
What do you mean now? He has a torn ACL.
No, I'm saying like now. Like, would you rather have
injuries?
Would you rather have Jamal Murray or have the run you guys had with Carmelo Anthony?
What?
It was only 2 years.
We're not even talking about that.
You guys had a run. You guys had a 4-year run, didn't you not?
I already mentioned that, right? I already mentioned that before.
Which would you rather have? Because who knows if you would have gotten Jamal Murray? How do you know you would have drafted
that's
Jamal
what I'm
Murray?
trying to say.
That's hindsight with me.
That's
when we traded for Gerald Wallace for the first round draft pick we had, that first round draft pick turned out to be Damian Lillard.
My point.
The Nets wouldn't have realized it was Damian Lillard.
Y'all are sitting here poo-pooing these draft picks.
Fuck draft picks.
Nobody cares about draft picks.
But Mike, when the trade was done, you guys didn't care. But the fans didn't care. The fans didn't care, Mike. You didn't care. You didn't care. You were happy you guys got Carmelo. No one was talking about Jamal Murray. No one was talking about the draft
pick. That trade was done in what, 2011?
No one cared. No one was sitting here saying like, "Oh my God, we gave up 3 picks." No one cared about that. No one cared about that. No one did.
I'm telling you right now, I would have much rather had that Melo run than a
point
potential of a draft pick 3 years later.
You're saying like, okay, you're saying like, hey, listen, we learned our lesson. We can't give up that many draft picks. But what I'm trying to say is that that's what it takes to get a superstar.
That's all I'm saying. And
no one's but listen. Then you don't get a superstar.
5 draft picks is too much.
Then you guys
that's too much, man.
But then you listen. If you're not
going to get superstars after,
like if we talk, why can't it be 3? Why can't if we're talking like 2 or 3?
Because you know, if I'm Portland,
but Mike, I said 2, and you said you wouldn't do it. I gave you 2 draft picks, and you said you wouldn't do it. My example that I gave before was 2.
You're asking me for 2 draft picks.
It was the same guys. It was the same. It was the same guy. It was the same guy. It was 4 players, and I just mentioned those players. I said Toppin, Quickly, Barrett, and Kimba. And I said, and they might give 2 more picks. And you said I'm crazy. So I said, guess what? If you guys aren't willing to move those players, then you guys deserve the outcomes that you will have, because you don't want to pay the price for a superstar. You want to give the worst players on your team to give the other team the players to get superstars back. That's not how it works.
If I'm never the GM in Portland, and you call and you're like, "Oh, I want 2 draft picks,"
it's too high. I'll bank on developing what I have.
I'm gonna say, if you want Dame, and that's why James just went for 6.
Are you going to win a championship with those developmental players? Are you going to win a championship with those developmental players? You told me no. Are you going to win this year? With the same players that you want to develop? Yes or no? No. Okay.
Anthony still has a twinkle in his eye. He thinks the Knicks are going to win.
That's why you develop.
Stop putting words in my mouth, Dylan.
That's the whole
point. Do you believe that? All right. So do you believe that RJ Barrett is going to be as good as Damian Lillard? Yes or no?
I'm talking about the future.
All right, in the future, do you think RJ Barrett's going to be as good as
That's the whole point. It's a hypothetical. I don't know.
All right, but you're willing to gamble. You're willing to gamble years of mediocrity versus getting a bona fide superstar. It's going to
cost me 4 players and 2 picks. Yes, I'm willing to bet on RJ
What's
Barrett.
happening
if it
right
comes
now?
down to 4 players, 2 picks, money, then I'm going to take the cheaper route.
Question: do you think the Anthony Davis trade?
I'm going to take the long route. I would rather take the long route.
Do you think the Anthony Davis trade was a good trade?
It was okay. I thought the Lakers gave up a little too
Okay,
much,
let's say you think it's okay. Let's say you think it's okay. Do you think the same trade for the New York Knicks would be a bad trade? Yes or no?
For Anthony Davis?
Sure. Let's say the Knicks had LeBron James on the team and they had a chance to trade for Anthony Davis. Is that a bad trade for the Knicks?
So in your hypothetical, the Knicks have
hypothetical.
James.
Yes, the Knicks have LeBron James. Because listen, it's a superstar. You can put any superstar in the Knicks,
have all the players that they still have right now.
Whatever. Pick a superstar, right? Because the idea is you're saying we need a superstar in order we need a superstar, right? Because you're developing, let's say we develop the superstar, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The Knicks develop their superstar, right? If you have a chance to trade right now for Damian Lillard with said superstar, because everyone believes that Jules is a superstar, or Barrett has a chance to be a superstar, right? But if you don't believe that, then you have to trade them. But if you believe that there's something there for him to be a superstar, now you have your superstar, and he's developing, he's reaching his prime. With the opportunity to trade for Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal or any superstar right now as a Knicks GM, do you make that trade? Knowing that you have to give up pick swaps and 4 players, just like the Lakers did. Is that a good deal?
If you want a superstar, you have to do it.
Depends on the position and the player. Maybe not.
No.
Like in your world,
Damian Lillard plays point guard. Bradley Beal plays shooting guard. You now know their positions. Now what?
If you want,
is that a good trade?
You have to make these trades though. Because
what are you trading for Bradley Beal? That's the question. What are you trading for Damian Lillard?
Is going to be referring back to the last superstar trade. So it's like, oh, you're going to offer me 2? Well, they got 4 for this guy, so I'm going to ask for 4.
Yeah, that's even a better question. What would you trade as a GM for Damian Lillard or Bradley Beal? What do you think is fair? At the Knicks' current roster, what would you do?
I would trade more for Dame. I think.
But what would you trade? What would you trade?
So
to make the salaries match, to make what would you trade?
I wouldn't. And that's
you're not going to trade RJ, right? Because he's a superstar.
A lot of money.
All right, yeah, exactly. You're not going to trade RJ because he's a superstar. You're not going to trade quickly because he's a superstar.
RJ if it was 2 picks. I literally just said this.
No, but what would you trade? What would your trade
look like? RJ for 2 picks, not 5 picks.
So what's a fair trade? What's a fair trade? I'm asking you, what's a fair trade? Is it RJ and 2 picks? What's the trade?
So
what's the hypothetical trade?
Again, well, I'll spell it out for you again. I will give away RJ quickly and Toppin and 2 picks for Dame and Nurkic.
And you will get hung up on though. And you wouldn't even get a responding text.
I would think we.
But
and
that's
you wouldn't
not
even
what
get a
this
text.
Argument is.
No, we might have to throw in one more player. We might
on that trade.
And how many players is that, Anthony?
You'd have to throw in one more player, and then you have to throw in like 2 more picks.
And question: if you
no, because I agree with Mike on that whole sample right there. I would think they would probably want at least one more player with 2 picks, and we'd be good.
All right. So what was I saying in the beginning? You're going to have to give up.
You also
4
have to
players
bring in. Circumstances affect the trade, because what if Dame says, you know what, fuck you, Chauncey Billups, I don't want to play here anymore. Guess what? I'm not giving them a 4th player because he don't want to be there.
Okay, and Anthony Davis also told the Pelicans he doesn't want to play there, and they still did. Player. Listen, Anthony Davis also told them that he doesn't want to play for the Pelicans,
and then goes, I want to play in New York. I'm going to tell Portland, go to hell. You might not get Toppin either.
But what's the difference?
Gonna happen if Dame goes, I'm not playing here no more. I want to go to New York. But Mike, now they might not even get Toppin out of me.
Mike, what's the difference between your scenario that you're giving and the scenario that James Harden gave and Anthony Davis gave? Did the Rockets and the Rockets and the Pelicans get less? Did they get less compensation?
Houston
yes or no?
Did a damn good job considering that James Harden didn't want to play there.
Okay, did the Pelicans get less because Anthony Davis sat out and said, I'm not going here and I want to go to the Lakers to play with LeBron?
You, if I was the Lakers, I wouldn't have given them that much.
But that's not what you're saying. You're saying that
it was fine. It worked out.
Mike, the trade doesn't happen. But the trade doesn't happen.
Yeah,
that's
the
whole
point. Just because you want to go somewhere, the team doesn't have to bring you there.
Just because he does that, Mike, doesn't mean that the team
so then
has
we're playing a game of chicken. We're playing a game of chicken.
That's literally what those negotiations are, though. That's literally what that negotiation is.
This is history and facts, though. I don't understand what you're saying.
If I say what I say and you say what you say, then I go, all right, fine. All right, no deal. And Anthony Davis is sitting there on your bench, just looking around, making y'all look stupid. Y'all might come back to the table and be like, this is a bad optic. Let's just take the deal and get him out of here.
Mike, James Harden did the same thing, and they got the same compensation that they were looking for anyway. Because the talent is so good, you can send him wherever you want.
Because Brooklyn thought that Philly was going to get him. That's why
so now you're saying because they had options, right? Because Philly was willing to give something similar to what they wanted.
Yes.
So they could have sent him to Philly,
not in the scenario
Brooklyn,
that we're talking about.
It is Mike, because I'm not moving the goalposts. Mike, it's not moving the goalposts. Mike, no. That's not hypothetical. That's a fact. Listen, it's not moving the goalposts. What I'm trying to tell you is that even in the scenario that they're being malcontents, Mike, the teams still get the compensation that they actually want to get. Why? Because the talent that they're willing to move whether they're the best player and the best team players or they're malcontents, the talent is so good that they know if they move it to anywhere, any team is willing to give what Portland wants for Damian Lillard. Any team is willing to give the Rockets for James Harden. Any team is willing to give what they want to give for Anthony Davis because they're transcendent talents. They're all saying, who cares if I give them 3 pick swaps and whatever guys on my team? Because guess what? If I add this guy to my team, he transforms my team for the future and now. It doesn't matter if he goes out kicking and screaming or he goes out playing golf with the owner. It doesn't matter. You have empirical evidence of the exact situations that you're showing and teams still getting the compensation that they asked for. They didn't get less because Anthony Davis sat out games. They didn't get less because James Harden was out partying and getting COVID and heading out with Lil Baby and throwing money in the air.
In the club.
And ate a honey buns in the club instead of going to practice.
You don't know that, Roz.
What do you mean we don't know that? It happened. It happened. That Mike, that happened.
You know why you don't know that?
How do we not know that?
You don't know that? You don't know that because you don't know what other offers were on the table.
Mike, we do know what other offers on the table because they become public. They know it.
Ben Simmons and 3 first-round picks were on the table.
It's public knowledge, though.
That is.
It's not like I'm making this up.
Ben Simmons, like 3 firsts, and then I think Matisse Thybulle was also on the table.
Anthony Davis made it very clear he was only going to the Lakers. We don't know what.
Did Anthony Davis have a no-trade clause?
Were getting.
No, he did not.
Anthony Davis said he was going to the Lakers.
And they
made it very clear. We all knew Anthony Davis was going to the Lakers. By hell or high water, that's where he was going to go.
That was also a weird situation because he had 1 year left on his contract, so nobody was going to trade for him if he wasn't going to resign.
And James Harden also said he wanted to go play with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And he's on the team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. And both teams got exactly what they wanted.
That makes my point. He wanted to go to Brooklyn.
And they still got compensated the same thing.
So
but it doesn't.
The best deal that they could get for Brooklyn. That doesn't mean that's the best deal that they got.
That's the best deal that they got
from Brooklyn.
No, it's not because they had a deal on the table from Philly, and they didn't want that. They chose the Brooklyn deal.
Exactly, Dylan. The Philly deal is a better deal. The Philly deal is a better deal. But
listen, the Philly deal is a better deal, but
they can.
I don't understand. If you're saying the Philly deal is a better deal, but they had the choice of the two and chose the Brooklyn deal.
We got more picks.
It's not like they didn't have the choice. They had the choice and they chose the Brooklyn deal. So if you're talking about the Houston Rockets are telling you the better deal was the one we got from Brooklyn.
The dumbest thing about the Houston deal was they didn't want Karis LeVert or Jared Allen. Those idiots.
Like that's what they're telling you, right? Because it's not like they didn't have any options. They had more than one option. And they could have shipped James over to Philly. Going back to what you were saying, like
you can name a bunch of scenarios, man. It is what it is. Like it happened with James Harden. It happened with Anthony Davis. It happened with Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi Leonard got relegated. He went to the opposite side and to another country.
Kawhi Leonard didn't even show up for games, son. He wasn't even in the building. He wasn't even showing up to games. Pops was sitting there saying, like, yo, we don't even know what's good with Son. I haven't talked to Son in months.
Mm-hmm.
What are we talking about here? I'm going back to what you were saying because this is where it came from. You're saying if somehow Damian Lillard decides he wants to throw a tantrum or put up a protest, that you could somehow get a sweetheart deal by the Knicks because they would get less because he's only wanted to go to one place. I'm going to argue based on history and empirical evidence that is not the case, right? You can't name me any superstar deal in the past 5 years where they were malcontents before they left and the team got less. And I'll give you time to look it up. I'll give you time to look it up. But Mike, like me and Dylan were just saying, like me and
are you an NBA insider? Are you you know what deals these teams are getting and that they're turning down?
I broke the Bradley Beal vaccination.
But behind the scenes talk, though.
like me and Dylan just said,
all the behind the scenes talk.
A lot of these things in these quote unquote Woj back like underneath behind the scenes talks have become public knowledge. They have been brought to the public. We gave you an example, the Philly deal. That is public knowledge. We know that what they had on the table, and we know that they chose the Brooklyn deal. We gave you an example that you're talking about that we don't know. We do know that. So what I'm trying to say is that you have to, as a Knicks fan, you guys have to just bite the bullet and go get a superstar
and blow the team. And send them 5 players, 8 picks. Doesn't matter. Dame will win 1-on-5.
I mean, that's a little hyperbole, but regardless,
Dame, Alec Burke, Mitch Robinson, they'll go get the chip.
But but what I gave you as an example was the
Julius Randle. He's good, right?
Right. But the example I gave you was the Lakers trade, not 8.
No, I think we're trading Julius too. I think we have to trade him too.
I mean, the other example I gave you was the Brooklyn Nets trade. I'm giving you actual trades that have gone down. And I said, this is what we have seen as the price for superstars.
That situation is different also because they already had Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. So they're in a different situation. They're trying to win right now. They're not trying
the Lakers
to
have LeBron.
They're trying to win right now while they have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving on their roster. And they're going to do whatever they have to do to win right now because they already have
superstar. So if I'm going with the same logic,
I have my gripes about Julius Randle, right? But we all know that Julius Randle was an all-star last year, and he took a huge turn. I know he's having a pretty bad year compared to last year. This year, but if we have the same Julius Randle from last year, and if we sell the boat and we get Damian Lillard to add to that, don't you think that goes from saying we're first round out to now we're trying to fight for a championship? I think that does change to that immediately. Just like how you say you can say that about all the teams that where you say they wanted to win now. Once the Knicks get Damian Lillard and have Julius Randle, that turns them into wanting to win now.
Knicks fans, I repeat, you deserve what you will get if you decide that you want to take this slow and sure burn. If you're going to sit here and to say to yourselves, we're going to win a championship drafting every single person, then so be it. Build it from the ground up.
At what cost does it get to the point where we're like Brooklyn, where Brooklyn doesn't have a bench? Brooklyn has no bench.
We've been hurt all year. We can't play the guys as the bench because they're fucking starting.
I'm using them as an
But who was the bench for the Lakers when they won the championship with Anthony Davis?
All right, Mike, again?
They had players, but they didn't even play the bench.
Who?
And they didn't even. And even if they did have a bench, they didn't play them. They didn't play them. They had J.R. Smith. He didn't play. They had Dwight Howard. He played. They had who else? They had
Dwight barely played.
They had Cheese. He didn't play.
Come on, man. Come on, Champ Cheese didn't play. Come on, man.
We all know that the playoffs, the rotation turns to 8-man rotation anyway.
Exactly.
Right?
Come on, man.
You need 2 to 3 guys you can pull.
Those bench players end up being really big.
You know who our bench player is going to be? Patty Mills.
All right, listen.
Patty Mills is going to be off the bench coming in. And then it's going to be LaMarcus Aldridge. And then it's going to be Nick Claxton.
I think what's going on here is we just have a different philosophy. We just have a different philosophy. I tend to want to build a team the way Phoenix and Utah did. It sounds like
by trading for Chris Paul.
By trading for Chris Paul.
By trading for Chris Paul.
By trading for Chris Paul, though.
But look what they gave up to get Chris Paul.
At that time, Chris Paul was a bad contract.
But he was a bad contract, Mike.
They got him as a bad contract. That's why that deal worked out so well.
It's always an answer. It's always an answer.
That's what it was. He was in OKC. He ruined OKC's tankathon
because
they
honestly,
traded him for a couple draft picks and got him moving.
What is the difference between Phoenix and the Knicks?
Come on, don't say that. Don't come on.
And they didn't trade all of their young players.
But see, here's what I asked you.
Trade all their young players.
This is what I asked you. But this is what I asked you to start out with.
They traded
Kelly. You believe that there is
a superstar
on the Knicks, and I asked you who that is. You think it's RJ Barrett? So now you're saying R.J. Barrett is a comparison to where the Phoenix were when they had Devin Booker.
It was Kelly Oubre, Ricky Rubio, and like 2 or 3 first-round picks for a 37-year-old Chris Paul with a bad contract.
So the superstar you're referring to is Devin Booker. So now you're saying like the Knicks have a Devin Booker on their team? Because what's the parallel between the Phoenix Suns and the Knicks right now?
OKC thought they were getting Chris Paul to help them tank, and then he brought them to the playoffs. So they shipped his ass out real quick.
Like, I agree with you. They started drafting
the point guard. So
yeah, they got rid of him. Well, you could be go be the point guard somewhere else. You're
before
ruining
they
what
got
we got.
Chris Paul, they were terrible, man. Like,
if y'all would have traded for
guys
37-year-old Chris Paul, you would hate him.
Yeah, with all those guys
I
they
was
named,
screaming for the
they were
Knicks to trade
terrible.
for Chris Paul.
But listen, with all the guys you just named outside of Chris Paul, they were a terrible team.
For 2 more years of Chris Paul.
Am I losing it? Are we forgetting this? Where the Suns are a good team with
Suns
all
were
the guys before Chris Paul, like they were drafting all those guys because they were terrible. Before Chris Paul, before they trade for Chris Paul, by the way,
they almost made a run in the bubble. They almost made a run in the bubble,
right? Because they traded for a what?
Superstar. An aging superstar on a bad contract. That's why they got that. What it is? Go find if you go find an aging superstar on a bad contract that's a team's looking to get rid of. Go ahead, trade for him.
All right. So listen, I get what you're saying now. Just like Phoenix, we should wait until Dame turns nearly 40, and then you should actually trade for him. And that's the plan, right? So just like the Suns, let's be terrible. That you're looking at the next 6 or 7 years, you can just be terrible, right? That's what you want, because what makes you different than the Phoenix Suns?
Players like Phoenix did.
What did they develop before Chris Paul? What did they do? Aiden was on the team.
Devin Booker was
to be fair,
they did play good.
Number 1 pick.
They played good in the bubble.
In the bubble, yeah.
Or in the bubble, they played well.
DeAndre Ayton was though, right?
Was
DeAndre Ayton the number 1 pick?
Since he's been
wait. Time out. Was DeAndre Ayton the number 1 pick?
Has he not gotten better? Since he not gotten better?
Devin Booker got better with Chris Paul. Devin Booker was a gunner for his whole career.
Paul, right?
Then himself. He's only competing
with Chris
against
Paul.
himself.
Who runs the pick and roll with him? Who runs the pick and roll with him? Before Chris Paul came there, who was running the pick and roll with DeAndre Ayton? Ricky Rubio. Okay, and we were wondering whether DeAndre Ayton would reach his potential, right? Because that was the rhetoric in the media. Is DeAndre Ayton going to reach his potential? Because he's not the person that he was supposed to be when we drafted him. Chris Paul gets on the team, and now we need to give him a max contract.
Devin Booker took that next step because of Chris Paul, because he was a gunner his whole career.
I'm not giving you revisionist
DeAndre Ayton
history.
wasn't great.
This is reality. This is reality. This is
those are two things that are true. Booker was a gunner and Ayton wasn't great until Chris Paul was there.
Like, it goes back to what I was saying. You guys don't have to pony up what it takes to get a superstar. Do it the way that you mentioned. But I'm telling you, history, based upon where the NBA has been in the last 10 years with all the super teams, no matter how you feel, you guys are not winning that way. At some point, you have to trade for a superstar. All the teams that have won have traded for a superstar. Name all the championship teams in the past 5 years.
The Milwaukee Bucks.
And they traded for Drew Holiday. And they traded for Chris Middleton.
Drew Holiday is a superstar?
Drew Holiday is a top 5 point guard at the time they traded for him.
Those guys are superstars?
He was a top 5 point guard at the position he played when they traded for him. He was I repeat again, Drew Holiday was a top 5 point guard when they traded for him from the Pelicans.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Was he now?
Yes.
Defensively.
He was an all-star, by the way, as well, too. Yes.
So
correct.
No, Dylan. That's not what he said. No. Don't save him. No.
I said and. No, I said and.
He said.
I didn't say but or. I said and he was an all-star, by the way, as well, too.
No, I know that when.
No, you said he was a top 5 point guard in the league.
Yes, I thought Drew Holiday was a top 5 point guard in the league. Correct. So when they traded for him.
So that makes him better than Chris Paul. I'll just name 5. We'll just go for 5. So Chris Paul, Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, John Morant,
Yes, he was better than John Morant when he came in the league. Yes, he was.
I'll give you that one.
I don't know
what
position you want to consider Donovan Mitchell.
Yes, he was. Donovan Mitchell's a 2 guard. But I mean, he plays mostly combo guard. We'll do that.
Russell Westbrook. We go Russell Westbrook.
Yes, when Russ was on the Wizards, he was better than Russ. Yes, he was. He was. He played better defense than Russ. Yes, he did. Absolutely.
I'll take Drew over Russ too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But keep going. Keep going. No. It's not like keep going. Keep going. Now we have Milwaukee. Go back. Who won before then? Who won before Milwaukee?
What I could say is when the Bucks got
so Drew's better than Kyle Lowry too.
No. Don't stay with Milwaukee. I gave you 5 years. Go back.
No. We're still on this top 5. He's
all right, and I gave you an answer. Now what, Mike? Go back 5 years, like I told you. What's the team before then?
The Lakers.
The Lakers. Did they trade for a superstar?
They traded for him on the Lakers.
Go before then. What's the team before that? You're on year 3. What's the fourth team?
State.
Did they or did they not?
Golden State. They signed Kevin Durant, but
I was talking about the Raptors.
I get your gist of what you're trying to say.
Just skip the Raptors.
Oh boy! You want to go back to LeBron's teams? You want to go back to LeBron and the Cavs?
Yeah, please. Let's not go.
Because they sure enough had Kevin Love.
We have to go back to Golden State if we do 5 teams.
And we did go back.
You have to go back to Toronto.
The Raptors.
We mentioned the Raptors already too.
I said the Raptors. They traded for Kawhi.
Okay, I agree with you. And I said you're at year 3.
And then after that is Golden State. I don't understand why I'm getting yelled at. After Toronto is Golden State. What are we talking about?
Okay, and I already acknowledged that. KD got signed. Keep going. You're at year 4.
No, that Golden State was back-to-back.
They won back-to-back.
That was still KD.
And then Cavs.
And then what we have there?
And then the Cavs.
And what do we have there?
And then before the Cavs,
what do we have with the Cavs? Before we have the Cavs,
they traded for Kevin Love.
Okay, continue.
And then before that was the Spurs.
Golden State.
Well, before that Golden State, and then before that was Spurs.
So you have what? How many teams out of the 5 years?
One, two.
2? How do you have 2 when the first 3 were the ones that you said? How do you have 2?
If you're gonna, do you count the pre-KD
Golden
State or not? If you do,
I gave you the Golden State. The first 3 were teams that traded for superstars.
Then it's 2.
How is it 2 when the first 3 were traded for superstars?
Said
I'm not giving Drew Holiday is not a superstar. You can sit here and fuss and scream when you want, bro. He's not a superstar. Now you're gonna try to take away because now you realize that it's more than what you thought. You said, listen, we moved past it. You kept going. You didn't stop at Drew. You kept going, right? You kept going, right? Every one of your favorite teams pretty much had a mercenary, whether it was by trade or by free agency, but we'll stick to the trade like I was mentioning before. Listen, man, it goes back to what I was saying. If you want to build a team philosophically without trading for a superstar like Dame Lillard and paying the price, then so be it. I'm telling you, you're not going to win anything. Whether you're in the East or the West or the G League, whatever you want to say, it's not going to happen, man. Like you guys gotta pay to play, bro. Like, I don't know how the Knicks fans are just like us that's why I keep saying you guys are like us as Jet fans. All we want to do is build it and burn it, build it up from there because we've traded for so many guys that have flashed and then fell down and we're like, oh man. Trade half the roster away.
You won't trade half the roster. It's 4 players.
If I'm the Knicks, the whole roster's available anyway. Everybody can go.
You're saying you want to keep draft picks for guys you don't even know is going to be good.
It's a matter of how much is too much.
If the Melo trade is too much, then you guys won't trade for a superstar because it's that and more now. I mean, other Knicks fans, you can chime in. Let me know. How do you feel about it?
I just don't agree with this whole 5 draft.
The person that needs to speak is Anthony.
I mean, I already said my piece. I mean, again, I just think 5 draft picks is too much. You like this whole thing of just draft picks are useless. This whole only 10 out of 60 hit. Like, yes, are draft picks expendable to a certain degree? Yes, they are. But at the end of the day, there still is value with building your team through the draft. Like,
I agree. I don't mind getting guys in the draft.
because my thing is like I'm listening to you talking like yeah, I completely agree with the players. From a player standpoint, everyone you said, yeah, I would ship them off for Dame. But then you keep losing me with these 5 draft picks on top
I'd
of
say
that.
5 draft picks.
I did, but can you name me 2 teams in the last 23 years who have built their team from the draft and won titles?
You said 2 teams in the last 20.
Teams in the last 23 years who have built their team through the draft. Because I can only name 2.
But the Warriors have built their team through the draft.
There's only 2 teams in the last 23 years who have beat their team through the draft.
You're staring 23 years.
You're saying that they didn't make any
20 years in the face, yo.
No, I'm saying the core of their team, those
championship
teams.
Get Andre Iguodala. Like
the core of their teams was built through the draft, and they got Iguodala on a great contract.
So who
they got Iguodala, Sean Livingston, what's his face, David West.
They didn't draft those.
Leandro Barbosa, but those guys aren't the core parts of their team.
So, all right, the same GM just got you Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier. So you're going to rely on him to sign you a superstar? You have faith? What has this regime showed you that they can actually go ahead and sign people that are worth anything?
I don't know, but I know that this regime drafted RJ, drafted quickly, drafted Toppin, and they're all good players.
And they're all
to draft good players.
And they should all be shipped out for Damian Lillard. And they all should be shipped out for Damian Lillard.
Like the Golden State team, their core was Steph, Clay, Draymond, Harrison Barnes. And then everyone else were veterans.
See, what you understand is that the Miami teams and the Golden State teams they're really extremely rare because they ended up doing that when those multiple superstars or a superstar that was transcendent was a free agent and they decided to sign. Miami signed LeBron and Bosh. That hasn't happened. God knows when. Right?
Brooklyn.
We thought it was a huge, right? No, it happened in Brooklyn. Happened in Brooklyn, right? I said God knows when, but the time frame between that and now is a long time, man. That's like almost 10 years.
10 years.
Right? Now, KD, the situation with KD, we were all going crazy because there hasn't been a time since the Miami Big Three that we had someone of that caliber as a free agent. Those guys don't make it to free agency, man. So now you're talking about signing guys who usually don't get the free agency, or if they don't like their team, they're traded before they can ever sniff free agency. That doesn't happen. So if you're waiting to sign that person, you're going to wait even longer than the draft. I would tell you to go do the draft route if that's the case.
If that doesn't happen, then you would have to rely on the draft.
Wait, I just said that. I said if that's the only option that you wanted to do, then you should throw that out the window and just go to the draft. Because if you're not going to trade, what else do you have? You might as well say to yourself, I'm going to draft in the next 5 years a Kevin Durant, a James Harden, a Damian Lillard, a Jamal Murray, whoever you're mentioning as a superstar. You should just say to yourself, I believe in the Knicks. Because what you're saying is, I believe in the Knicks' current front office to draft me a superstar of this caliber in the next 5 years. If not, then you are going to either A, trade, which you don't want to do, so that's out the window. B, wait for the magical unicorn free agent to hit, which obviously by historical figures only happens like maybe twice in 10 years, right? Both of those scenarios, you're going to be able to relegate yourself to looking down the barrel and say, 5 years or more, I'm willing the Knicks to be mediocre or terrible. And listen, I respect it, because if you're saying, hey, listen, if we haven't had anyone good or worthwhile since Melo, what's another 5 years, right? Right? What's another 5 years? Like, I'm a Jets fan. I'm down to build from the draft because my whole entire life they haven't gone to the Super Bowl. What's another 4 years? Like that's why I say you guys are parallel to the Jets, right? Right, Ant? What's another 5 years? Right, Mike? What's another 5 years? James, what's another 5 years? You don't got to worry about training for a superstar. You're going to give up too much. That's for only the teams that want to win championships in the last 23 years.
Talking to the wrong person.
That's for the other 21 teams in the last 23 years that want to win a championship. That's only for those guys. The special breed of NBA championship teams who want to do it outside of the draft.
Speaking of championship teams, there was something very interesting in the chat that was posted, and I took a lot of offense to it because I didn't like the selection, and I thought they were really bad. And I still think they're really bad. And I still think I'm the only one who had a good team makeup. And I believe Dylan said he was going to put together a watch party so I can.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yes. Right. Yeah.
Well, I was going to do it on PC because it's definitely easier for me to do it on my PC than you doing it.
Well, I was just showing the box. Yeah, you can do it.
So what do we got? I know James and we bought our team because there was one of those things like, oh, you have $15, build yourself a 5.
Yes, it was one of those.
And James and I had what? Steph, Kobe.
You guys had some disastrous
bummy lineup. Kareem.
Yes.
I like my lineup, man.
And Anthony.
No, Raz, your lineup was bummy too. I'm sorry.
And Anthony said he's going to take Stockton, Jordan, LeBron, Dirk, and Shaq.
That would literally wipe the floor with all y'all teams.
John Stockton gets cooked by Steph Curry.
John Stockton gets cooked.
No, he wouldn't.
He doesn't have the child molester with him, so he can't do anything. So John Stockton gets cooked every up and down, especially in 2K. So
Isaiah gives John Stockton the business too. All those guys give him the business. Like not even
except for Oscar. Oscar's the only one who doesn't give him like a ton of business, but he just uses his body. He just uses his body.
Too big.
Too big, too strong.
Yeah, Oscar's going to just out rebound him. Like Stockton will never ever get a rebound in that game, which you don't necessarily need him to, but it does count for second chance points. So
I think the way me and James built this team pretty much is around Steph and Kareem being the two most unguardable people on the perimeter and on the interior. And then Kobe, Durant, and KG, all those guys play two ways and can all down and get a bucket at any moment.
That was my logic, though.
So here's the monkey wrench of what I was told of how this actually works is that we went the traditional way of guard through center. The monkey wrench is build your team $15.
Oh.
So that changes a lot.
Oh.
So are we building a full 10?
No, build your 5, 15.
Just dudes on the court. Just dudes on the court.
I could just put LeBron, Charles, Kareem,
just dudes on the court.
KD, and fucking Larry.
Yo, nah. You got to build
my team still is fine. My team costs
my team is still my team is still fine.
Is pretty good too. My team came in $2 less. And I was
wait, Mike, who was your team again?
Mike's team is pretty good too.
Wait, Mike, who was your team again?
Isaiah Thomas, Kobe, LeBron, KG, and Shaq.
No, that's bummy. Nah, I don't like that team.
It's better than yours.
Like, nah. See, I don't even like any of y'all suggestions. Like, because the thing is, I find obvious flaws with each and every one of y'all suggestions. That like the reason. I just don't know, man. Again, that's why I told Dylan put this on screen. I want to show you guys that mine is the best. I mean,
you
again,
know that in 2K, mine and James's team is favored because Steph Curry is the most unguardable player in any video game ever, right?
Well, I picked Steph anyway too.
I care why.
Cook John Stockton. That pick and roll with KG or Kareem with Steph is unguardable. Unguardable.
I had Steph, Jordan, KD, Dirk, and Shaq.
Looks like I'll be having
It's also better than your team, Anthony.
2 family-sized bag of chips, Dylan. That's what's on the line, man.
Yeah, Anthony, I don't know what you're talking about here. The one matchup I think you would lose terribly on that's not Kareem or Steph would be KG on Dirk.
I don't know.
I think KG would feast. Like MVP KG.
You think KG would feast on Dirk?
Give me defensively. Give me.
But it's not MVP KG. It's that.
Oh, defensive player of the year KG. I'll take that too.
But then that's championship Dirk right there.
Mm-hmm. That's championship Dirk.
Okay, I'll take it. Because
when
I put these teams in 2K,
these pictures, like I want to have LeBron on my team, but it's the Lakers LeBron. Do I take Lakers LeBron over that KD?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'm assuming these are all
Lakers LeBron is averaging 30 something right now.
I know, but that one is I think that's the year before they won the ring. But that KD,
I don't know what year these guys are.
Yeah, I'm assuming
some of the guys you just have to.
Like, how do I know which Magic Johnson that is?
That's true. How
do I know which?
That Magic Johnson doesn't have HIV.
That Magic Johnson
looks
like
the hell?
Championship.
He doesn't have it. That's
That's first championship junior baby sky hug championship Magic Johnson right there.
With Pat, yes, right, yeah.
But I'm just looking at these pictures. I'm not going off of the year or anything. I'm assuming they just mean these players are all in the prime.
Because if we're going off the picture,
we're going off
96, 97 Hakeem Olajuwon. I'm eating him up. Shaq's eating him up.
Oh yeah, that's why I picked.
If you going off the picture, you see that old ass Tim Duncan. Nobody's picking him.
Listen, KD's going to give Lakers LeBron. That KD's going to give Lakers LeBron problems because Cavs LeBron is better than Lakers LeBron.
Exactly.
That's a fact. That Lakers LeBron that played against that Golden State team, even though they were getting washed up by KD, he was a monster. That's the guy I want to, like I said, that's the guy I want to walk through the door. He ain't walking through the door, right? Like, and you can argue that Kevin Garnett would give Dirk, like he would be a little bit physical with Dirk, but I feel like Dirk he's just reigning,
talking shit about his wife.
He's raining buckets.
His body is probably gonna body that KG up, and he's gonna shoot over him.
The hardest one is the center, man. All 5 of those guys.
Give me Kareem.
All 5 of those guys, you can make an argument. Maybe Bill, but
those are the 5 greatest centers ever.
Yeah,
they're the most unguardable move in basketball.
Yeah, those guys are all unguardable by themselves, and going against each other, that's gonna be tough because I feel like Shaq is just throwing mad bowls. Shaq is just being nasty. But I also think
him and Wilt is gonna be the ultimate like Kong versus Godzilla fight in the middle.
Yeah.
But I just think that on the pick and roll for those
Kareem
players, they get put
man.
on the island, any one of them. But that's only on offense.
Sky hooking, forget about it. Because Shaq has no perimeter defense. He's over. Shaq is done. Shaq is a paint bully. He can't go deal with Kareem out on the free throw line throwing up sky hooks. Can't. Mm-hmm. You see the dream shake. He's doing all that stuff, and Bill is just a freaking winner. Bill just finds a way to score. It's I don't know.
Steph doesn't miss.
Steph is, and the second hardest one would probably have to be the 3.
The 3's got a lot of great players. I know Anthony's completely dismissing $3 there.
Scotty is
Scotty's the most underrated one on that list.
$1. The KD is underrated though, man. That's $2.
Scotty for $1. Scotty for $1 is wild.
Scotty for $1.
KD for $2 is also crazy, but Scotty
I
for
would
$1?
flip KD and Larry Bird's ass in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they got fucking Dr. J for $3. Like,
and look at that. And if we're gonna talk about the picture,
$1 is crazy too.
And if we're talking about the pictures, we're looking at that Larry Bird, which is $4, but that's the tail end of Larry Bird.
Because of the haircut.
I just got done laying out asphalt on my fucking mom's driveway instead of hiring somebody to do it, and I ruined my back for the rest of my career.
I think D Wade at $1 is also crazy.
Because I'm a man's man.
D Wade for $1 is crazy. The fact that
D-Wade
Jerry
for
West is
$1
higher
crazy.
than Wade
Jerry
is
West
crazy.
higher than D Wade is kind of crazy though. And no offense to Jerry West, but
No, all the offense to Jerry West.
D West,
You said all of
D Wade for $1 is crazy.
D Wade's
man.
the third greatest shooting guard of all time. I don't care if Jerry West is the fucking logo.
Yo, man, that Charles Barkley is tough, man. That's MVP Barkley.
Get
man.
Karl Malone off this list.
That's 93 Barkley. Shit, that 93 Barkley doing work too.
Barkley's giving Barkley's
giving everybody on this
nasty,
list
man.
buckets.
Barkley's giving
Barkley's
Kevin Durant
nasty.
problems.
Yeah,
He's giving Kevin Durant problems. Oh,
Everybody.
Like, you try to tough him up a little bit on the defensive side, but KD is KD. He's still gonna get his bucket, man.
Wait, I see a little bit of gray.
he gonna shoot over
Timmy is that
Barkley's little
too.
ass. He gonna
Yeah,
shoot
Timmy
over
is
Barkley's
that.
little
That's
ass.
definitely
So,
like
That-
2012 Timmy.
that's like 20. Yeah, that's 2012. Tim
Yeah,
Duncan.
Timmy is not that good on that list at that age. He's good, but he's not. I don't
If it's
know,
like
man.
03 Timmy
Timmy's.
or 06 Timmy. Oh.
Do you think
06
06 or Twin Towers Timmy is the better?
06 Timmy.
06.
Give me
06.
06 Timmy.
06, yeah.
06 Timmy was just somewhere else mentally. Twin
He was
Towers
like the
Timmy
man
was
the
just a
man of
freak
1,000
athlete
moves.
too.
At 2006, he was the man with 1,000 moves. He had
Still
all
I
he
hated him
got.
so
player.
much. I hated him so much. I can't tell you. There wasn't, and Mike will tell you, every time he came in, I was like, those goddamn bank shot. Of course he's going to hit the bank. Of course.
The
Of
most
course he's gonna hit
sound
the bank.
basketball player
He can't
ever.
even just go play basketball with these guys. He's just gonna bank shot and go back down the court. It made me sick to my stomach.
So would you guys?
Fundamentally sound ever.
So would you rather would you guys rather have Tim Duncan?
hit the bank.
So would you guys rather have Duncan or Nowitzki?
Give me Duncan.
Timmy.
Give me Timmy.
Timmy.
All
Timmy Duncan.
day, every day.
Timmy.
I'll take that defense.
Yeah, because he
The
can do
greatest
both.
power forward of all
Nasty.
time. Skill set, pound for pound, offense, defense. There's nobody more well-rounded and fundamentally sound than Tim Duncan ever.
Timmy, man.
Ever.
Timmy.
Timmy had it all. He'd kill you on the block. That'll take you down to the elbow, give you a quick jab, pump out, hit that bank shot that Roz loves so much, and just slowly jog down the field with his big ass feet. Just get back on defense, put up a near quadruple double with blocks.
Those
The last
Lakers,
person to almost
Lakers
hit one.
Spurs, man. Lakers Spurs used to be like war. Those were the wars, man.
Used to be real.
So I have a question really quick. So I think Mike threw this slide up briefly earlier, which was this one, and this is like a comparison of like MVP run as far as like total points with Steph or points per game with KD, and you see who else is on the list and everything like that. But what we also have here is this.
Oh yeah. I want to talk
Mama,
about
there
that
goes
too.
that man again.
I want to
And-
talk
and
about that too.
That list is outdated because he had another 30-point game tonight.
Exactly.
Another one.
So, can I go first?
Go ahead.
All right, cool.
Go ahead.
Here's how I feel. I think this gives me shades of when LeBron first came on the team with the young guys, where I think she was on his way to an MVP, and then he got robbed of it. My thing is the same way. It's like this team is a bad team, man. But he's playing some of his best basketball during this stretch. And for me, just like when it happened when the young guys were there with him, I'm just waiting for that shoe to drop, unfortunately, as a Laker fan, where something's going to happen, right? And I'm hoping that maybe it's already happened with AD being out, but I feel like this is what I want, right? I just need LeBron to just be here. And I feel like I need him to keep this killer mentality where he's like, I'm LeBron James. I'm the best player on the court. And it's okay for me to let my ego like strut out, And even if Anthony Davis is there and I want him to be in all his glory and be the best player he can be, I feel like LeBron, as he currently is right now, people will say, oh, well, this is only because Anthony Davis is out. I'm going to argue and say this LeBron James has always been there, and that he's willingly not been this way because of how he doesn't want to be perceived and what he has in mind for Anthony Davis. Because, yeah, LeBron doesn't want to have to play 40 minutes a game, but now he has to, right? Now he feels like I don't have to face the scrutiny. I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to do all this. No one's going to reel me back because I have another superstar. But this is LeBron James that I grew up with, where D Wade is there, Bosh is there, Kyrie's there, Kevin Love is there. I'm by myself. It doesn't matter who's on the court. He's putting in this work. It doesn't matter how good the other player is. He's putting in this work. And it's like, yeah, it's like, okay, he's 37. Maybe it's not fair, Roz. He's older. You shouldn't expect that from him. But you have to ask me, this is why we pay him, and this is what was expected when they paid him. So if this is the last run of LeBron James averaging 30-something points, shooting blah, 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 like 50% from the field, let him go out like a supernova. I'm here, man. Let's do it. If AD comes back, pedal to the metal, let's do it, because the Lakers don't have a choice. They don't have a chance without him playing this way, AD or no AD, because Russell Westbrook is not doing it, man. Like, it's not working. Like, something has to give, yo. Something has to give.
I feel you, because
he deserves votes for MVP. If they make the playoffs, he deserves votes to MVP. If they end up somehow falling in the top 6, top 5, I think top 5, you have to seriously consider him. But top 6 to 8 seed, he gets votes. If he gets a top 5 with this Laker team, the way it's constructed and how they've been playing, he has to get serious considerations for MVP, man. I really, truly believe that. It's a bad Laker team, man.
Who's next?
Me. I'll go next, because everything you're seeing scoring-wise out of Kevin Durant is exactly what you expect out of him, except he's also being stupidly efficient on it as well. And the most underappreciated part of Kevin Durant's game that people tend to keep forgetting about is his facilitating. And that's the one thing this year we're seeing a lot more of, his playmaking and him controlling the offense and pushing and getting other people the ball. That's the one thing in his career you never really had to see, because in OKC, he never really had to do that. In Golden State, they were just moving the ball so freely. He never had to do any of that. And with all the people being out with COVID protocols and him having a 3-game stretch playing with 4 different rookies and a bunch of guys on 10-day contracts coming in and carrying out to some wins, and him playing great basketball and good defense this year, his playmaking has been the most surprising thing to really see him, because I saw it like at the end of the playoff run where he was creating for other guys to get open, because James was just a shell of himself, just being on the court, not really doing anything because he can't run fast breaks or anything, just being useless out there. But this year, Kevin Durant's been everything I could have wanted out of him, and then some. That's why it's like, I will put the argument out there that this is the best version of Durant we're going to see, because he's doing the same thing he was doing in Golden State offensively, just as efficient, if not more efficient, shooting the 3-ball well, playing that same type of defense, and now he added the extra element to his game in facilitating, getting other guys shots.
I haven't watched enough games to actually agree fully with the whole facilitating, because when I had watched some of the games where he were playing with the young guys, I mostly just see him trying to like take over to make sure that they stay in the game or seal the win. So but I could see where that can be happening if you're watching every single game and you're noticing the gradual change in his game and stuff like that.
That's more so where it's coming from, because there's a lot more possessions where instead of James bringing up the ball, Kevin's bringing up the ball. He's ball handling, setting up a pick and roll, getting Patty open on a screen, or getting Kessler Edwards open on a screen, seeing Blake down there cutting off of a quick flash in the middle. Like, they're doing a lot of great things right there with switching up who's handling the ball. And then I think it's only going to get better when Kyrie comes back, because now you get that extra shooter. You get the extra guy who can actually attack the basket, which is something we've been missing hugely.
Hopefully he doesn't take Kyrie coming back and take that step back again.
I hope not. Because what I remember last year when those three were playing, all they did was just move the ball. In the 12 games I got to see, especially in that Celtics series, all they did was move the ball. And it was great to see, because that just got Joe Harris shots. And now that Joe Harris isn't playing yet, he'll be back in 2 weeks. You get Patty Mills in here. That's just going to get Patty Mills shots. This is going to get LaMarcus Aldridge shots. And then if Kyrie's moving off the ball and doing all these things that he does and that he did last year, and they don't skip a beat after not playing with each other, it's scary. It's very scary. It's very scary.
What you got, Enoch?
Oh, his headphones died.
Oops.
Bro.
Shit.
Can you hear us?
Like, literally, when you asked me that, my power just went off in my headphones.
Wonderful.
Get your opinion off, that's all.
Yeah, get your shots. Get your shots off.
I mean, just honestly, for me, like, I know I'm seeing that. Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So one headphone's dead. All right. Honestly, for me, like, as much as I come off as a LeBron hater sometimes, which I'm not, never have been, you know, my thing is, it's like, just what he's doing right now, I got to give him his props. You know, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's carrying that Lakers team, you know. Westbrook is trash, just trash all over the board. He's just stinking up LA on epic levels. Anthony Davis, I mean, we all know his nickname at this point. You know, realistically, if I'm the Lakers, I'm being very conservative with him and his health and only bringing him back when he's 100% ready, you know, honestly, you know. But for LeBron, again, the man just turned 37 and he's putting up 30 points a game plus, doing it more than anyone in the league right now. It's like, dude, you got to give the man this. I mean, he already has flowers at this point. You got to give the man gold roses, man. I don't know what else to give this dude. Like, what he's doing, like, forget this whole if he gets into the 5th seed, top 5. No, he should be an MVP considerate right now. Like, I disagree with anyone who thinks he's not in the conversation right now. He should absolutely. To be doing this at his age, come on, man. Like, so this is one of those rare times where, yes, I do have to give him this props.
Good job, Anthony.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up.
I think Steph Curry's going to the MVP, but I do agree with LeBron.
Turn your microphone.
Your microphone is the laptop.
Mike, your mic.
Can you hear?
You better get close to the computer.
It's a little bit low in volume. You have to just try to.
What happened? You don't want to hold the mic no more?
No, let's switch to the headphones.
There you go.
Okay. If Steph is the MVP, but if LeBron can get them,
So Kevin Durant just doesn't exist?
Dylan,
no, I mean he exists.
Stop it.
He just won't win.
he won't win it. He ain't winning no damn MVP.
He can win
I
it.
ask why?
He can win
Why
it.
he can't?
He can.
Steph
win
is
it.
Seeing how
definitely
nobody
elite.
has had the amount of the fact that the Nets are where they are record wise, with all the different pieces coming in and out of that roster, not playing, being hurt, 10 days, all this stuff, and they're where they are without Kyrie Irving, playing with all these rookies and Langston fucking Galloway, Nick Legend,
Steph Curry's doing this with Jordan Poole,
who's
and
played
Gary
well
Payton
the last
the
2
second.
years. Gary Payton, who's stepped up. This is also Kevin Durant playing with a struggling James Harden up until last week.
He's still James Harden, right?
Still James Harden, man.
I think
it was above James Harden.
He got Draymond Green that's getting 15 rebounds, 13 assists, and 4 steals, 2 blocks.
Like, you're getting great team play out of the Warriors. You're getting great individual play out of Kevin Durant, and that's why we're where we're at.
I think if everything stays the same, I think Klay coming back actually hurts Steph because it is going to add more firepower. And I'm sure in the eyes of a lot of people, once Klay comes back, and if he looks anything like Klay from before, it's going to shift more to Kevin Durant because of the situation that he has right now with Kyrie playing half the games. But if you have
Kyrie comes back in, it's Kyrie
for only half the games.
Yeah, but he's playing half the games. Like, Klay is playing all of the games. Draymond's playing all of the games. Steph is playing all of the games. Kyrie is playing half of the games. Harden is playing all the games. And
That second best player all season has been Patty Mills.
But they're 1A and 1B for me. They're 1A and 1B for me. I can't really tell you right now who I would choose because both of them are deserving.
I just don't like the dismissing Kevin Durant thing. That's
Kevin
Durant's not going to be MVP, Dylan.
Why? But Anthony, why not?
He can be.
But why can't he? And then if it's anything but Nick bias, I don't want to hear it. Because Kevin Durant, all around this year, has been the best player in the world.
Yeah. The only problem with LeBron's thing is that it's tied to...
LeBron has to do it because of team success.
Yeah, his is tied to the playoffs. I just don't think if LeBron has the same thing and they don't make the playoffs, he wins MVP, unfortunately. And that's sad. But I think Kevin Durant and Steph Curry are also getting propped up because they're primetime TV. They're two of the best teams in the entire league. That's just how it works in the NBA. And so, I mean, Giannis is also there.
He's creeping up slowly.
I think Giannis is the third one for me right now, with LeBron being a close fourth because the Bucks are rolling. The Bucks are. He's out there looking an absolute monster like he usually is. And you know, I kept saying if Giannis finds a way to start shooting threes, he's unguardable. Like he's slowly trying to incorporate that into his game. Like he's more and more confident pulling up from the 3-point line. And if he somehow decides that he's going to hit 2 threes a night, I mean, you can't guard that. I just don't know how you guard that because he's going to just pump fake you and just completely run like a bull down the lane and just dunk it on everybody. And he has post moves. He can shoot a mid range now. Like his free throws are his only weakness. Like, but besides that, I mean, like the man's a walk with a 30 clip, huh?
Anthony, you and everybody in the basketball world knows that if that Bucks played a healthy Nets team, they don't get out of 5 games.
Oh god, right? Here comes the health excuse. All right,
like we beat them by 40 in game 2. What are you talking about?
And what happened by game 7?
Oh, that was also without James Harden, and then Kyrie got hurt game 3.
Here we go.
So stop. Like everybody knows, everybody here knows, and the basketball world knows that was good. That was the series they skated by and then just ran through because nobody else was good enough. Bud was going to get fired, and that team they're going to talk about reconstructing again. That's the only difference.
Pretty good, though.
Giannis is good. I'm not saying Giannis isn't good.
Phoenix was a really good team. They it's just Giannis just took over, man. Like,
Giannis took over. Giannis took a step. Giannis took another step in that net series, but everybody knows that if they would have had a healthy Harden or a healthy Kyrie, they would have won that series.
And I'm
because the
game
game
right
Kyrie
now,
was
even
losing,
with them healthy and back, they're still not beating the Bucks. All right, they're not.
Okay. Because the one player they had that was giving the best player in the world fits no longer is there. And Giannis hasn't played defense all 4 quarters, so we'll see.
We will see.
So I'm not worried about the Bucks. I told you I'm way more worried about the Bulls than the Bucks.
We will see.
We will see.
All this and more next time on Dragon Ball Z. Fellas, we're gonna wrap up this marathon
long-winded
episode.
Is this the longest one we've done?
Yes.
This is the longest episode
by an hour and a half.
by an hour and a half.
So,
we almost had 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Go Lakers, man. My God.
Lakers ain't doing shit, man.
Go Knicks, man. Lakers got a dub. Knicks got a dub.
Bing
NYK,
bong.
man.
Right hand play.
It's a Knicks
Yeah,
town,
but
man. Knicks tape, Knicks city, Knicks everything, man.
Y'all can have that. Knicks City, Knicks State, whatever. Nets World. Hashtag Nets World on Twitter.
The Nets then
Beat
play
me out of that.
Huh?
Yo,
No,
I saw
the
LeBron
Nets
talking
play
trash,
tomorrow.
man.
We play Indiana tomorrow.
The same Indiana.
By the way, we
that
beat
just
Indiana,
beat.
though.
Great.
Yes, team
We
we
get
just beat.
Kyrie Irving back.
So y'all need all that just to beat the Pacers?
No.
Okay, then.
There you go. Did you
mean-
guys see the M1 and the trash talk by LeBron?
Yeah.
And
He's playing center, yo.
Yeah.
yo, listen.
This is the argument we always have where like LeBron can play 1 through 5 and do fine.
That's it. Yo, for me,
He's the
it
GOAT.
makes me
Go.
giddy, man. It
Go.
makes me giddy.
Could Jordan
Like-
play the 5?
Nope.
Like,
Oh, God,
no,
we're not
Jordan-
getting into. We're not getting
Jordan
into.
played the 5.
Yo,
Jordan played
Jordan
the
played
5.
good night, guys.
We're not
Jordan
getting
played
into.
the 5.
Patrick
I
Ewing
didn't
was posting his
take
little
the
ass
cheese.
up.
I didn't take
Dropped
the cheese.
60 on
I didn't
his
take
little
the
ass.
cheese.
We're
I didn't take the
not.
cheese.
We're not getting into that, man. How
I
many
didn't take
times
the
we got?
cheese.
Gotta
Jordan
tell
did not
you,
play the 5.
LeBron is LeBron. All right, let's keep these people in their own lane. All right.
Dropped
I
Well,
love it.
60
I
on
love
his
it. I
little
love it.
ass.
This is Frank Vogel saying, I'm going to use the people that I have in any way that I can. That's it. No funny rotations. No, I'm just going to keep people in the box and have weird minutes staggerings. Like, listen, play the man at the 5. Can you do it? Sure. Let's do it. We need wins, man.
It's Magic
wins.
Johnson all over again.
We need wins, man. Let's go.
Just less HIV.
Go
Oh
talk.
my God.
All right, let's get out of here.
Oh my
Let's get these goodbyes going, guys.
God, Dylan's crazy.
Like and subscribe. Thank you all the listeners, the comments, the rates, all that good stuff. Appreciate every single one of you. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy Chrysler. Great things are happening. Go Jets, go Nets. Hell yeah, Kevin Durant's the best in the world.
I was hoping you wasn't gonna say Mets after that.
Never. Yankee fan,
I know you're a Yankees fan, but it's in my book. It's always gonna be fuck the Jets, Nets, and Mets. I'm sorry, but I understand. But like and subscribe. Thank you for all the support. Thank you for all the people that watch or listen. Shout out to the Triple B's pod. I mean, chat. Say a lot of stuff in there that can't be said in other ways. Gonna get those guys on here soon. We got some good stuff coming from them. Yeah, we're back, man. That was a good little short stint. Welcome back, Mike, from your hiatus. That was a short little. Hey, welcome back, man. You were gone. Did you leave?
It's not a hiatus.
Did you leave?
It's not a hiatus though.
Did you leave?
Did we have a show? Did we have a show? Did we have a show?
Not.
Oh, so I've still been on every show. No hiatus.
We did not post the show. Welcome back.
I have not missed a show.
We also mentioned you going on hiatus last show.
Yep, and then y'all didn't step up. So no hiatus. Nope.
Welcome back, Mike.
Play welcome back, Dylan.
I said hiatus. I said hiatus.
All right. Okay. Well, Anthony, happy New Year.
Wait, what?
Merry Christmas. Welcome back. It's 2022. You didn't know?
Yes, it is 2022. It's year 29 for me. I'm getting old, man.
Damn, I'm still the youngest one in here.
Listen, man.
I don't like thinking that I'm going to turn 29, all right? I feel like...
my God.
Once you hit 30, you're old as fuck.
Oh,
I know. I
Wow.
can't relate, though.
Dylan, play Welcome Back by Mace. Thanks.
Nah, but I'll jump in right now. Thank you everyone for listening. Honestly, you know, like, we love you guys. We appreciate all of you guys. Definitely like and subscribe. We do this for you. We do this because you mean everything to us. Definitely want to say Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you guys are healthy and safe coming into the new year. Also to my brothers here in the Speak On It podcast, always a pleasure to have have you guys here, speaking to you guys, chopping it up. It's literally the highlight of many of my you know many of my nights when I come here. I get geared up. It's literally like Rocky getting ready to fight Ivan Drago. I mean, I really get geared up for it, guys. Thank you very much for providing this platform for me, and I'm sure everyone else to speak on it. Pun intended. Take care, everyone, and definitely, like I mentioned, like and subscribe, and we'll have some more content for you going forward. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks everyone who tunes in. We do this for y'all each and every week. This is definitely the most enjoyment I get out of a Tuesday night. I can say that for sure. I don't feel like you took it a certain way, but anyway. But yeah, so like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. At the end of the day, we talk sports. We love sports. We're fans of the game. At the end of the day, there's a bunch of different teams, bunch of different leagues, but there is only one nation. There will only ever be one nation. It's under Vegas.
How many DUIs does that nation have?
I thought this was my turn to
I apologize.
Thank you, Dylan. Like I said before. Over there. People see what I go through as a Raiders fan. See what I go through as a Raiders fan. These people are just jealous. They wake up every day jealous that there's only one nation. They wake up with so much envy. They're so mad because nobody acknowledges their nation. There's only one that exists, and it's under Vegas. I know it hurts you. I know it does. But at the end of the day, there's only one nation, and it's always going to be another day at the office.
You wonder why.
That's all I got to say.
You wonder why.
That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Got them Sherlin on.
All right. Well, first we want to thank you for listening, watching. Shout outs to the platforms. Shout out to Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. If you're watching us on YouTube, we're going to try and get on a couple more. Trying to get on a couple more platforms, but Spotify and wherever you listen, watch, we appreciate it. We're coming in. We're gonna do this thing. 2022 is gonna be a big year for us. We got special guests coming. We got live episodes coming. You can interact with us. Follow the Instagram page, Speak_on_it podcast. Follow me, IAM_MBJ on all the socials. Yeah, man. Shout out to OTTR. See you guys in a couple weeks. Yeah, that's really it. This marathon episode. If you've been rocking with us for this whole 3 hours and 35 minutes, we appreciate you. We love you. And stay tuned. We will be back next week for our playoff prediction show for the playoffs. And we will be back and try and be better than ever.
Go Jets.